I'm gonna be transparent about what
Yeah,
has transpired here. Um,
yeah.
so we just recorded, it's like a week ago or so, the episodes. Which one is it? We did 11 through 20, um, 12 through 20, and we lost the recording for 12 and 13 because it turns out I was not recording Bob's audio due to a bit of a mistake on my part. So I have a recording of me talking about those episodes, but um, would have been a little weird
I'm gonna
without Bob.
release it as the SK and Arkham cut.
So,
Yes, I agree. No.
so yeah, we're right now going to talk about those episodes again. Um, but the recording, including 14 through 20, still exists. So this is going to probably it's probably going to be obvious. Like I think at one point I make a reference to the fact the recording got lost. Um,
Whatever.
I think, and also I didn't know how we were going to handle it at the time, so I believe that the episodes we are going to review now are not on the tier list for the rest of them. So just know that things are going to be a little wonky, and our enthusiasm might be a little different. But that is just what it
Just
is.
to, and just to say as well, the reason why we just like, oh, why didn't you just record it then? It's because we were talking about each one for a good like 20 minutes or something each, and I was like, I don't want to just repeat myself again. So that's also why we've just given ourselves like a week break, and then we'll talk about these episodes a bit more enthusiastically.
I don't know if anything can save episode 12, Torch Song. It is. Um, it's an
But I
episode of the
struggled to
show.
talk about it once, so it is remarkably unremarkable.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's got some things going for it. So plot is that there's a pop star called Cassidy, and then it turns out she was dating the pyrotechnician of the show, and they just had a breakup. And she's just like, you're gonna do your job, and he's like, yeah, yeah, don't worry about it, don't worry about it, I'm fine, I'm nice and sane. Also, his name's Garfield.
Yeah,
So
Garfield.
it's it just immediately, just kind of instantly makes this character impossible to take seriously. Um, Firefly, you bad arsonist. So they're on the stage. I think is Barbara in the audience? Uh,
I don't remember. I
Maybe.
know. I know Bruce is dragged there on a date, and they make some gag. He's like, "Ah, get out of the cave. Ah, Bat Cave. Ah, get it." Um,
I think he also can't remember the name. No, it's a different
oh,
episode.
yeah. Well,
No, it's not important. So she's doing the show, and then Garfield like just starts a fire.
he cranks up
It's
all
getting out of
the
control.
the
Yeah.
pyrotechnics to 11, and it causes the whole thing to go up in flames. And it's like, oh, is it actually like this show is kind of crazy? And then, oh, this is actually on fire.
I mean, when he's doing the concert, he's like, "Well, these flamethrowers, these go up to 11," and he keeps like cranking them up. Uh, and then I believe it was Barbara who saves her.
Yeah, Bruce is,
Um,
in the audience as himself, and he's like really hesitant to do anything, which seemed kind of
mhm,
weird. He's like, I want to, but I, and then Batgirl shows up. It's like, oh, thank God.
get her. That's like, oh, I cannot be bothered to work tonight. Oh god, am I really gonna have to get changed? And then he sees her, he's like, oh, thank God for
Yeah.
that. It's like when someone's like calling around for work, like, can anyone do this shift? And then like someone calls in first and says, oh yeah, I'll do it. And you're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he then becomes like uh, a stalker. So I believe Bullock like breaks into his apartment at one point and got this like very kind of stereotypical kind of obsessive mural dedicated to Cassidy with all the like posters and everything pinned up with like a candle shrine. It's almost Candles are a bit much, but then again, I guess I guess he is an arsonist. He is a what's the name, like
Pyromaniac, yeah.
pyrophile? Yeah, pyromaniac. Is like fire. So...
Pyrophile.
Pyrophile? I mean, that's right.
I mean, I guess it's a little hard, I think, for well.
Hey, look, it's cool. Well, I don't know. I mean, you know what? When we did this originally, I was like, there's no correlation there between like a fire between being an arsonist and a stalker, but I may have found it. He's a pyrophile.
Right. Yes.
I don't know. It's just having those candles lit when you're not even in your apartment. Kind of a, what lesson is this teaching the kids? I don't know.
This guy might be a little unsafe. I don't know.
Yeah. Don't be like Garfield. Don't be an arsonist and don't have a silly name. So apologies to anyone called Garfield, including I think Beast Boy from Teen Titans is called Garfield. Do you want to talk DC?
Huh.
I don't know why I know that. Probably because it's named Garfield.
Yeah, it just sticks with you, you know. The one thing I would remember about Firefly for the rest of my life is that his name's Garfield.
Honestly, yeah. In fact, I don't even want to use the name Firefly. I want to just call him Garfield. Anyway, so yeah, he's like stalking her, and then I believe there's a bit where she's in the studio and she's recording a bit, and then
well, that's not what
I got
happens.
a question.
Yeah, that actually doesn't happen first. First is some sort of encounter out in the open. I don't remember any details about it at all, other than like that's where he first shows up in the costume. He tries to kill her again with fire. Batman shows up and deals with him, and he's got this jetpack on his costume. He just looks like a, I don't know, guy in like a hazsuit, I guess, with like bug eyes.
Yeah, it's not so like bug eyes.
Yeah, but it was just weird because they don't show the jetpack exhaust like at all, so it looked like he was just hovering, like he just had powers of flight. It was very strange,
like Superman flight.
Yeah,
hovering.
It looked
propulsion.
Very odd, but that's all I really remember is that he attacks her, Batman comes and saves her, and then there's a scene where Batman's like, it's at night and the police and Batman are both like on guard at her apartment or studio apartment, whatever it is, and he like, she hits on him and he's just like no, and then she calls him a creep, and then
I just realized the irony of him not having visible Firefly, the guy who's obsessed with fire, not having any visible propulsion on his jetpack. It's like, oh yeah, this is actually a smokeless version that doesn't burn anything. You know, it's like, I don't know, small thing. I think you see it later on. It's just like an animation goof.
No, it's just they animated it really weirdly for some reason.
I'm sick of animating fire. I'm not gonna bother. You need some fire coming out of this jetpack. I'm so sick of drawing fire. I'm not gonna bother. Nobody will notice today.
That I believe leads to the scene where she's in the studio recording booth while Batman and Barbara are investigating like it's like a 4-story warehouse or something that's like his base of operations, and so they somehow find it, and the lead-in for that is again, I don't remember the details. I remember that there was a phone call between Barbara and Bruce. And then Barbara says Bruce is like, what are we going to do tonight? And Barbara says, the same thing we do every night, Pinky. And Bruce goes, what? And she's like, oh, nothing, never mind. And that was just a thing they did. Very strange.
Yeah, Warner Brothers likes doing that.
Yeah.
But although it's not usually that blatant, I don't know, they don't usually sneak into the actual dialogue.
Yeah, he's usually more of a subtle reference, but that was just literally the line. Like, I do like Bruce's like, what are you talking about?
He's a grown man. That'd be like if you referenced, I couldn't even name a cartoon like Adventure Time or something. I'm not gonna know what the hell you're talking about.
Right. But yeah, there's
it's not even a modern cartoon. I don't know.
Not anymore. So yeah, it's intermittent with the scene of her getting like smoked out of the recording booth. Is Batman and Batgirl investigating this building? They're up on like the 4th floor, and the reason I specify that is because Barbara just like throws a random like electrical switch, and then it causes the entire 1st floor to just start exploding. and the whole building starts going up in flames. It was just very just like, okay, that she just hit the blow us the fuck up button.
Yeah.
So they're on the 4th floor and everything's on fire now, and Batman's just like, okay, I know what we gotta do in order to get out of this burning building. Is he picks up a barrel with something in it, I don't know, he throws it, like chucks it out the window, and it's like a good, 20 feet out there, and then it explodes, and then that explosion somehow causes all the fire around them to dissipate, and then they just escape.
It was full. The barrel's full of no fire.
Yes, it's like there's no weed, we have no fire. It just extinguishes fire by exploding, by being on fire.
There's no like setup for what it was. It's just, I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, it worked. Good job, Batman.
I don't know if it was implying, like the wind like blew out the fire. Like, what are you talking? I don't know. It just happened. It was very weird. But and then while that's happening, she gets smoked out of the recording booth. The people on the other side are like, get out of there, bye, and then they just all run out and then leave her to get kidnapped by Firefly.
Yeah, hey, I know you got to deal with this stalker, but you're on your own for this.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I didn't, just kind of remembered, like they explicitly use like a smoke bomb, and it's like directing it into the air vents on starting a fire.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you just start a fire?
Because that would have been
Killed
irresponsible.
Her?
Yeah, that would have been reckless.
Well, he's trying to. I'll go back to what I said earlier. So there's no correlation between being a pyromaniac and a stalker, and then they also seem kind of contrary, because I didn't say this before, but like fire's hard to control. It's just kind of it's wild. It's fucking fire. So how can you? So like a lot of his plots involve fire, but obviously if he's infatuated with this girl, he's not trying to kill her. He's like kidnapping her stuff. So fire's just not a good fit for that line of criminality. Yeah. Like he had to do the smoke grenade, like because I was gonna say like when he just set the building on fire, but I guess he doesn't want to burn her alive. But then, so why is this character the stalker?
Up until now, he's just been trying to kill her. This is the only time he's actually avoided killing her in order to kidnap her, in order to, spoilers, try to kill her later? So, I don't have a single clue.
I don't.
So, well...
I guess he just want to just kill her, but it's not really a...
It's... so, she gets kidnapped while Batman and Batgirl are in the fucking exploding building. So, You cut to another warehouse that he's in with her tied up, like she's on chains, like it's like a post, and he's got a big giant ice cube, and then he's like going on this monologue. He's like, I made this gel. It's not thermite, it's this gel that I made that if you set it on fire, it'll burn through anything, even ice. And then he proceeds to burn through the ice.
Wow, amazing. I can't believe it.
And I...
Hotter than ice. I know.
I get what they were going for, I think.
It's like a thermite thing. It's not extinguished when it goes to the water. Yeah, I get that, but it's still... It just comes across as like, I now have the incredible power of melting ice. Mr. Freeze, watch your back, I'm coming to you.
It's like they were like, how do we dumb this down for kids? But they came up with something that's kind of too stupid for kids. Like, it can melt through ice. Like, well, fucking anything that's
I get what they're going
temperature.
for as an adult. Yeah, I get what they're going for as an adult. I get that it's like burning through this stuff. It stays ignited as it makes its way through the ice. Like, that's impressive. But it's just the way he builds it up. It's just like, yeah, this can melt ice. Like, well, good job, Garfield. You reveal.
God. So, yeah.
Maybe he didn't realize that like his pyro stuff could have hurt her. It's like, I wasn't using the gel. It wasn't actually that hot.
Doesn't
Be careful, stand back.
He doesn't know fireworks at all. He's just like, yeah. He was trying this entire time to make her show really, really cool by setting a lot of fire, and he's like, wait, that was gonna kill her? I had no idea.
I read something about, I read it in a book, it's like heat rises, so it won't be on the ground, so cooler? I don't know.
Yeah, no. So and of course...
We're making this character more interesting than he actually is.
It should be said that this guy, his voice is just nothing, like just dull. He's not intimidating. He's not even interesting. Like there's just nothing to this guy at all.
It just sounds like a guy. It doesn't even sound like much of like a voice actor. He doesn't sound like much of a character. Not saying that it's a bad performance, but he just sounds too much like an ordinary rando.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, there's some burnt through eyes.
He's some just non-important character. He's a secondary character, but. No, he's actually supposed to be the villain, and he's just... Ugh. So, and of course, this gel is also just like a dark red liquid, so there's the fight scene that, Batman inevitably gets there somehow, and, some of the gel, like, spills out, and it just looks like he's bleeding profusely, and it's very silly.
Yeah.
But I just... And then... Huh?
I wonder why they dusted this guy off for new Batman adventures. Because he wasn't in the original show. It's like, oh, we've got to bring him in. There's a few like originals, but and he's not original. I'm pretty sure he's from the comics. I'll find that out.
Yeah.
Nice. I know he's in like the Arkham games or like Origins or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from the 1950s. He is old.
I guess because they didn't have any good ideas for him, because they certainly didn't have shit for him here. He's just a guy.
Yeah, they not exactly didn't really give him the Mr. Freeze treatment, did they?
No, he's some dude. Batman. There's a fight that breaks out. The building ends up collapsing. Batman gets Cassidy out of there, and then Firefly just kind of crawls out of the wreckage and then passes out, and it's just like, oh, he's defeated. It doesn't even. He's not even really, poetic justice sort of thing. The building just kind of falls on him, and he's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's whatever. The ending is...
Cassidy's more of a character than he is.
Really, yeah. Especially with the ending where it's, she's with her agent in a fancy restaurant, and then some guy... The agent's in there just, like, trying to capitalize on the pyromaniac stalker. That, like, he's like, oh, what if we called it, like, it's the too hot, or it's flaming something or other, and he's just, like, trying to make a fire pun out of her future plans, and then, like, a waiter rolls out...
A new concept, let's call it Inferno.
Yeah. And then a waiter rolls out one of those dishes that when they open up and there's just a big fire comes out, and you see it in her eyes, and she looks at it, it's like, oh, she's traumatized by this pyromaniac guy.
And she should be.
Yeah, which is sure, but also that's it. That's the end. This guy, he really did not like being fired, because that's the reason that he decided he needed to kill this lady, is because he was fired. Yeah. It's not. Right. He's the antithesis of Heart of Ice. He's Heart of Fire, and it's just boring and fucking worthless.
No sympathy. Yeah, there's no like he was never a victim at all either. I mean, we don't know why they broke up. Or because he's boring. I don't know.
Probably.
But yeah. That's kind of it. And I did a little comparison with like See No Evil. I know the Stalker thing was a little bit different, but
yeah,
that just did it better because he had invisibility power, and again, fire. It's like,
Also, like a legitimate connection with his daughter, whereas it's mostly just the disposition that his ex-wife had with him. Whereas in this, it's just we don't even really. I don't think it's explicitly stated what their connection is, because I think he says something like about her past, like implying that there's something dirty going on with her, but it was like just like a one-line note that was very vague, and it didn't. I don't even know if I'm just like misremembering it or something, or like I just saw it differently, but like it's just nothing. Like, this episode is just, it is easily the most boring episode of these two shows. Like,
Yeah.
just, like, not like at least, like Never Too Late or something was ambitious and it was trying to do something different. This is just a supervillain wants to kill a lady and Batman stops him. The end. It is the most generic that these shows have ever gotten. So
Pretty much.
we ended up throwing that in D. I'm trying to remember where we put it. But it doesn't matter.
Can you not find it with all the red skies and whatnot?
No, I mean, like, where we put it the first time we did this, because if it's inconsistent, then whatever. But,
yeah, spoilers for... Wow, I thought that was going to be an S tier. Wow.
No.
I could have saved you some effort, I could have... If you just gave me the file you did record of us reviewing it, I would have just, like, listened to you speaking in the recording, and then I would have just tried to react to it naturally in real time. I think that would have saved you some time of re-recording it.
Jesus. I'm a little annoyed. Like, that one, I don't mind going over that again, because that's just... There's not really a lot to say about that one. It's just... whatever. This next one... Boy, this next one...
This is noteworthy.
This one is an episode of this show. So, the episode is called Love Is A Croc. And from that title, right away, you're like, this is Killer Croc, like, romance or something.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, that sounds bad. Like, that just sounds dumb. Like, they could surprise me, I guess, but I'm not anticipating a lot. I was not ready for who it was. Like, I was like, oh, it's gonna be, I don't know, Poison Ivy or something. She does the fucking pheromone shit or something. It's just something stupid like that. One of the...
I should say I already knew of this going in, so I didn't experience this kind of guessing game.
Yeah, no, I was... The episode starts out with, as you can see from the title card, quote unquote, a, like, 30s? It's an old sitcom, like a black and white...
50s,
50s, yeah. 50s sitcom, and it shows, like, a family, or, like, the parents walking up to the door, and then, like, a bunch of junk spills out of it. And so then there's this little girl, and then he's just like, baby doll, you got some explaining to do, and she's just like, I didn't mean to. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. They put a baby doll cameo in the new Batman Adventures. That's pretty clever. I like seeing them represent that
no,
one
little
character.
callback to the original show.
Yeah, that's really cute. There's, but that's all it is a cameo, because there's...
Yeah, we wouldn't want to do another episode with Baby Doll.
Yeah, doing a Baby Doll follow would be just fucking weird, and it would be especially weird if, in this episode, Baby Doll was romantically interested in Killer Croc, because that would be maybe the stupidest premise that you could ever come up with. And so what precedes that scene is an episode where Baby Doll is in love with Killer Croc, which is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Like, several writers, producers went through a lot of hands and got produced and aired. Certainly is an episode. It certainly is an idea for an episode.
And as bad as that premise sounds, as dumb as that premise sounds, it gets worse. It gets so much worse.
Yeah, you could almost do something. You could almost do something with that, I guess. But no, it's as bad as it sounds.
Yeah.
But not to get ahead of ourselves though. But so then we cut to, like, I suppose, like, current time, because she's not in the show anymore. And she's running a hotel because sure, why not? And then this guy who's drunk, but according to the censors, according to the show, like, he's not drunk, but we know he's drunk.
He's like exhausted or something from their vacation.
He's very tired from all this alcohol he drank. I mean, all this not sleep he got.
Yeah, but him and his wife stumble in, and they're just like, would you forget the key? He's like, I lost the key. It's because I'm not drunk, but tired. So they...
And who meets them at the desk, who's working the desk? It's Baby Doll, trying her best to kind of look like adult. Because I suppose given her condition,
it's also...
you kind of want to...
I just have to say it. This is post-reform, so she also got a reform. She didn't get an episode for it, but
We'll let's not open that. Let's not get into that barrel or whatever. I'm not calling this a reform episode.
No.
We really got to count those at some point, but yeah. So she's trying to reform shit. They're giving out the key, and then he's like, "Hey, I know you. You're Baby Doll. You're that widow who tried to kill Batman." And
he fucks with her hair, and he's like, "Say the line, Bart," and she's noticeably upset by it. So she slams his face into the desk, and then just kind of runs off to her own room. And she gives this spiel about I'm still a normal person. My body is just different. And then she turns on the TV, and it's a live footage of a trial for Killer Croc. And he's up in chains, and he's very green, and he's just like, I'm just a normal person. I just look different. And she's just like, oh, he's just like me, for real. So,
small interjection there. I also want to quickly mention that this is the first time we actually saw her deal with any form of discrimination, which we really could have done with in her debut episode, because that was like one of the negatives we had for a debut, is that she spoke a lot about discrimination, but we never actually saw it, and I think that would have gone a long way to help her out. Besides her failed Shakespeare career, but seeing this here, it's like, yeah, she must get a lot of abuse, so that's one positive here, I'll say.
Yeah,
but yeah, she then pursues Killer Croc.
Yeah, no, it is very strange that it handles her backstory better than her introductory episode, because that one was too busy being silly, and then she gets put in this much more lighthearted show where they can't really do that justice. So
I mean, it's still the discrimination here is still really just over the top. The way he grabs her hair, it's like, come on, that's a bit too much. But we at least see it. We at least see something.
But they also have to establish who she is, I guess, because they
have to do that with everyone, really.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Killer Croc breaks out of his chains and starts causing a ruckus. She's cheering him on while watching the TV, and it eventually leads out into the street. Batman shows up, and there's a fight, and then Killer Croc is tranked. He hits him with this trank gun that he has, which ends up coming up later.
Make her know that, yeah.
Yeah. And Baby Doll is very distraught by this in the crowd of watching this happen, because for some reason, at the very end of the scene, she's outside in the crowds, even though she started the scene watching TV, which is very odd. Just a very strange thing they threw in there, because it didn't add anything.
Yeah, she could have just reacted the exact same way on the TV, but for some reason they felt like bringing her down. She did not interact with them at all. He wasn't aware of her presence. So why have the... I guess it's to really show how passionate she is. I guess,
but
and she made the effort to physically run down there, but
it's also very silly.
It's a lot of extra stuff to animate. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very silly that she just this was happening live, and then she knew where it was, and then ran down to the scene she was close enough to just run there. That's a lot of just random assumptions there instead of just having her be in her room.
He's just like me. He also lives on the street. Or he's having a trial on the street. I don't know.
I don't know.
He's on the street.
I guess at this point it's worth mentioning both of them have, new designs, and they both have new voices as well. So, I don't have a lot to say about Baby Doll's design. She kind of just looks the same to me. It's one of those things where you put them side by side, you could see the differences in style, but it's otherwise just the same design, but just drawn a little differently.
Yeah, I think I prefer the original, although it's kind of like whatever. It's more of a review of the art style than the actual character change, I guess.
Yeah.
Although
sure.
I do feel like hers is like, I do think here in this new art style, I was like, it's funny because I think I like original design. It was kind of we'll definitely do the character tier list at the end. I'd like to do that. Original kind of looked like, sort of, if I remember correctly, kind of Tiny Toons, and then the other one looked kind of like Animaniacs, you know?
Yeah.
And one was slightly more detailed, but neither design though, like super cartoony. Like, granted, she's a child with like big eyes and stuff. Well, she's not literally a child, but anyway.
Right.
She just, like, in both designs, she just looks like a cartoon in this otherwise. Well, the worlds are like kind of realistic-y, but she just kind of looks like a Tiny Toons Animaniacs character in both. So
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. And I really don't like the new one. I would say the new one's, if I had to choose, I'd say the new one's worse though, because it's so simple.
Yeah. She doesn't look like a villain character. She looks like just a background character. So,
Yeah.
Killer Croc though. He's simplified and he's green. So I don't know. That's
and
weird.
his personality's different. I mean, I feel like we're only just starting to get to know the original Croc design by the time we last saw him, and then they just this might as well be a new character. Like he's just different. He looks different, and it's just his personality's different. You know, like before he was kind of he was like a little stupid. I mean, not as much as like Batman portrayed him as in Almost Got Him, but he was still kind of dumb. But see, here he's just kind of a thug. Like, oh, I'm tough. I'm just tough. And he doesn't have that like lovable kind of goofiness. I threw a rock at him. You know, and his voice is very generic. His voice is super generic. Like the original had the weird mouth, and he had a very particular way of speaking, whereas this one just sounds like random goon number 5 or something. You know?
Yeah. So
the other one sounded a bit more reptilian, like I talk like this. And it's granted that's a bit like silly, but it is a cartoon at the end of the day. But yeah, I don't like this new Croc design. Although I guess green is closer to a crocodile than grey.
Yeah.
So.
He's I don't know, I like the kind of scaliness that he had originally. Kind of gave him some texture, whereas now he just looks like a smooth green thing.
He looks like Reptile. He just looks like one of the versions of Reptile.
Yeah. It's like the MK cartoon, whatever. That's their Reptile. That's what he looks like. So, he's in like a tank or something that like they're keeping him in. For some reason, I guess because I don't know, he's strong or something. But
I'm realizing Gotham PD has just like a really big budget nowadays because they have all these bespoke containers, like that weird containment thing for Clayface. God knows how they financed that, but and then they have this big tank for Croc. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and every time a new villain shows up, they have to build a new thing to keep them contained. Ridiculous. But they're like, she shows up and she's just kind of talking to him, and while throwing him whole chickens, like cooked chickens, just straight into his fucking mouth, and he's just like eating them like a performing seal or something. And she's just like,
I remember like previously getting to this debate, I was like really starting to argue with you. Like, I believe the chickens were cooked, and it's like, and then I was like arguing, and I was like, wait, why does it fucking matter? What am I arguing for?
I was just like, it's raw chicken, but it's not like a literal like live chicken.
No, it's cooked.
Free a fucking turkey for all I know. That
makes it. This makes this yeah, but if it's cooked, this is like an S tier episode. If not, then
It's fucking.
But she would cook them.
But no, yeah, she's because that comes up again too. There's a screenshot we have later. Him just with the big fucking chicken in his mouth. That just keeps happening. Chicken. So she's laying out this thing. She's like, "Hey, you and me, we're pretty similar. What if I bust you out of here?" And Croc's like, yeah, sure."
Yeah, this relationship is very one-sided. He's just like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
like, I'll get you out of here. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, okay.
Yeah. He never actually gives much of a shit about her. He just, yeah, he just ain't long for the ride, really. But they're like, oh, they're gonna transport him tonight or tomorrow night or something, and she's like, I'm gonna bust you out while they're transporting you. And so you cut to nighttime. There's an armored vehicle with Croc in it, and there's Baby Doll. There's Mary Doll, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Doll in her child to TV show getup, her persona. She's in the street playing with the ball, it's on like a dirt road, like in the middle of nowhere, because her plan is to just stand out in front of this truck, and as they swerve to avoid her, they go over like a little cliff that causes it to topple over, and then he just breaks out. And again, it's at night, and it very much looks like if they had not recognized that she was there a second sooner, if they were just like a second too late, she would have been fucking roadkill. She would have been just dead.
Is a bad plan. Yeah.
It is not much of a plan, but it works. And then I don't know. They just kind of head out together, and then much like Harley and Ivy, they become a dynamic villain duo, where they're in the papers as they're an unstoppable force that Batman apparently just too fucking busy to deal with, and apparently Superman as well, going by that shot.
I presume it's an unrelated article. Right. It's kind of good if he can't stop them.
When will it end? Oh yeah, that is the Daily Planet though, which is fun.
Yeah, so, cameo there.
Yeah, and
doing the Sonic pose.
Right, but it's just sort of like they're robbing stuff, and it occasionally shows scenes of them in their lair, which is like in the sewer somewhere. It's like Croc's lair, but she's got like she's doing the thing where she's Baby Doll and she's acting like a child, and she's like sitting in a high chair and making notes in crayon that are poorly written, and it is somewhat strange to me. I appreciate that Croc doesn't seem to give much of a shit, because it is very weird to me that there is a romance in this show between, Croc and somebody who is acting like a child. Like, that's weird. I just gotta say, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, I'm glad it's one-sided, let's say that much.
Yeah, but
it's just like, sure, if you like get me money and stuff, then fine, I'll go along with this. But it's such a weird idea, this whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I also don't care about either of these characters. Like, they have not had enough, especially like this version of Croc. Like, they are not well established at all.
No, not one bit. So it just shows them like robbing a casino boat or something. It's like how does this matchup works? It's there's this one security guard, and then Baby Doll walks in and she's like, "Hey, kids shouldn't be here." So the guard like escorts her out, and then while the guard is like 10 feet away from.
Yeah, it's not even like escorting out. Like, they just move like 10 feet.
Yeah, she starts walking away, and then Croc walks up to one of the tills, the deal, whatever, and just like breaks in.
His window.
Yeah, just breaks in and starts stealing shit, and then the guard's like right there, and she's like, "Hey."
Yeah, It didn't make any difference.
No.
Like like Baby Doll's contribution to the big plan is just literally nothing. It's the worst payday heist I've ever seen.
it's like, oh,
Like,
she's the brains.
Hey guys, now you've got like veins. Like you got to move to slightly move the guard 10 feet away from the window.
Yeah.
And, like fucking Dallas, whoever's like, what will that accomplish? Just like, shut up, do it. Oh no, he's just like, no, Croc. That was supposed to be like a quiet thing, and then Croc was just like, oh, I hate stealth highs, and he's just like, oh,
Yeah.
going loud.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, yeah, she, like you said, she's supposed to be the brains, but it's like, that's not much of a plan.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like, they do a very poor job of establishing what she's even putting into this team. And even then their plan is, like, distract the security guard, and then he just breaks in and immediately gets caught. Like, everyone's very well aware what's going on. But, whatever. They steal money, and then they get away with it. She throws, like all of her weapons. She doesn't have the doll anymore with the barrel for a missing eye. I missed
that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just she has like a bouncy ball that she throws in and it becomes a smoke grenade. Ah! And some other stuff I don't remember, but it's all, kitty themed crap, which,
yeah. Kind of lame, but whatever.
Yeah. Something, Batman follows the literal paper trail, the literal money trail that they left behind, that leading to the sewers, and then, I don't know, he investigates their lair, but just sees, like, a note that she wrote down in crayon, again, because she's acting like a child, which is weird, because she's not a child, and that whole thing with her, being attached to the show isn't really a thing anymore, but, she's just doing it now, I guess. That's just her thing. That's what we know her for, so...
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, so whatever. Anyway, there's something, she, like, basically follows him as he's like on a pier somewhere, and he's, like, hanging out with some women, and just, doing his thing. And she's just like, he's not faithful to me, I'm gonna get my revenge. And so... she hatches a plan, she drags him along to it, and it's at the nuclear power plant. And then they break in, and then she starts messing with the dials, and he's just like, alright, so what's this plan? How is this going to get us money? And she's like, oh, I was just lying. I'm actually going to nuke all of Gotham, including us, because you don't love me. She's like, you're not faithful to me, so I'm going to commit murder on a grand scale, grander than most of the villains in this entire show.
Yeah, if we're going like tier lists of villains in terms of like actual, body count, potential body counts, like she's just jumped up to like S tier or like triple S tier or something.
She's second to Ra's trying to destroy the entire world with the fucking Lazarus pit. Like,
in that one episode where Joker had a nuke.
Yeah. She's on par with the Joker having a nuke because Croc doesn't love her, which is, I'm just gonna say this is a poor representation of a character who I didn't like that much to begin with. Like, she was not done very well in her own episode, and then they decided to bring her back to just do awful things to her character, like just nonsense. So, this is where, Batman and Batgirl show up. We noted that in, the original episode, they were very clever as to not get her, like, have her be physical, baby doll, to get physical with, Batman, because, she has the body of a child. It'd be kind of weird.
Yeah.
Batgirl then, like, jumps into the room that they're in and just fucking drop kicks her. And
like kicks her with all her force. Like, there's no holding back.
That was just odd. That just looked very strange. Like, okay. So, they stop.
I want to quickly acknowledge as well, like, this is just the ending of Hatred.
Oh, yeah, it is.
So that silly image.
She is on par with not important.
Yes, she is just as edgy as not important. Or I should say not important as edgy as Baby Doll. Congratulations.
Incredible stuff. I don't know, there's a fight that breaks out, and then it ends up like, I think Batman's about to get killed by Croc, and then Baby Doll uses the trank that he dropped to stun Croc, and that's how it ends. But there's also a weird thing where it looks like an injector, but whenever it's used on Croc, it like tases him, like you see electricity.
Yeah.
So it's like an injector stun gun. We're just like, wait, what is it? But yeah, but yeah, that's and then I don't remember there being anything else. That was that episode. We ranked it fucking Baby Doll mad because fucking what a shit episode.
It is hard to give a damn about any others. It's not even like funny, really. It's just stupid. At least like like some of these like comedic episodes, they're usually like amusing, but this one doesn't even have, I don't know, like the Joker's IRS line or something. It's just stupid. It's not even funny. It's just stupid.
It just shouldn't have been made. Like there's no redeeming qualities to this other than like I forget where we put it specifically with these, but it's one of the things like the show itself. Like there's not a bad looking episode of this show at all. Like they never got down to Terrible Trio, Cat Scratch Fever, nothing like ACOM. It all looks good or fine. Like there's a standard there, and they reached it every single time, which is good. But that's about all that this episode has over some of the worst episodes of the animated series. Is that it at least is drawn fine. It's actually, I remember it not being one of the better looking episodes, but still, it's fine.
It's whatever. The animation's kind of whatever. That's not really the issue here.
No, but this is just, this should not have been made. This is stupid.
No, it really is. Yeah.
So, I do believe at this point in the last recording, we also realized that Terrible Trio, I think it was at the top. At Baby Mad, and then we moved it down because we're like, you know what, Batman in My Basement is at least funny.
Yeah.
Terrible Trio is it's boring, and it also looks awful.
Yeah, it does.
So,
but it does have villains that are even more intimidating than Joker.
It does, yeah.
Apparently. According to some.
According to some. Alright. So,
The Ultimate Thrill.
The Ultimate
What
Thrill.
is the Ultimate Thrill?
Episode 14. Can I really quickly point out, since I wrote down all the directed by and written by,
oh yeah, sure.
This appears to be written by a woman?
Yeah?
I just thought that was interesting. So,
fair enough.
Anyway, so yeah, there is a high...
Hey, look. Before we get too far into it, written by a woman, directed by a man, so...
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Direction can make a hell of a difference.
Sorry,
we'll get to it.
This sounds very weird out of context, but I gotta say, this episode certainly has a climax. So there's a heist going on, and you're just like, oh, what's like? You don't know where it is.
Well,
yeah, where are we? We don't know where we are.
People.
And then there's this lady here, very typical sort of aviation gear setup with the jacket and the goggles, and she's like, hey, thanks for all the loot or whatever, bye. And then she goes out a door, and then it turns out, oh, she's in an airship. They're in like a
like you can't escape from here.
Yeah,
like, well, she's like, it's fine because I don't know where we are yet. I haven't had an establishing exterior shot yet, and it's like, oh, we're in an air. She's like, oh, we're in an airship. Okay.
She's like, I can handle that. My name's Roxy Rockets, so guess what I'm good at. So she jumps out.
I throw rocks at people. I've got a rocket.
So she jumps out, and then a rocket zooms by and catches her, and then there's a prolonged sequence of her flying around and making quips. And boy howdy, she sure is talkative.
She is a talker, yeah.
Yeah, and then Batman shows up and chases her around in the Batwing, and then she gets away or something.
So it's one of these like action-heavy ones. I don't know if now's the time to say, because we've got a few coming up, but this episode is full of good action. It's well animated. It's quite exciting. Most points like there's Batwing. Obviously, she's flying around. Batman also just starts using a jetpack on the regular ever since he met Firefly.
Oh yeah.
He just adds it to his arsenal. I'm sure that toy sold. They sold a lot of that toy. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has a jetpack now, which I don't know. I guess it kind of levels him out a little bit with Superman. I guess. I don't know.
You see it a lot. Like it comes up several times in the next rest of the season.
Very specifically after the Firefly thing.
Right. Yeah.
Like, we never saw it prior, and then suddenly just starts coming up all the time.
That Firefly thing that we totally have mentioned already. Oops.
Yes.
Anyway, so...
Well, we have.
We're
going by this continuity.
We certainly did. I'm not gonna lie, I actually don't remember much of this either. I remember being a lot of action.
So she's basically... Like, she's like hawking these off to Penguin. Now... Because Penguin's shown up already. He has the Iceberg Lounge. I think we're yet to actually discuss what he does in this version of the show. Because he now runs. So before he was just, I think I refer to him as just like a less physically capable Two-Face. And the reason I'm saying that particularly because he kind of had the criminal. He was like a generic, not generic, but you could feel like a general kind of criminal role. While still being a supervillain, and Two-Face can also do that. Whereas when you get to like Joker and stuff, it's a bit more themed. Now, he's themed as well, but if you know what I don't know what I mean.
He's got birds.
He could fill a lot of generic plots. Yeah, he had birds, but he did a lot of generic criminal stuff. But now he's got a bit more going on because he now has a front, which is the Iceberg Lounge, which I think was in like the 2022 movie.
Yeah.
If I recall. And that's quite an interesting thing, because it's a legitimate business, but obviously he's doing shady shit on the side. And I like this. I really like this aspect. It has a lot to his character. He's, because he now has it now makes more sense that you try and present himself as kind of suave and sophisticated, because he has a public face to maintain, because he is supposedly legitimate. So I just really like this. I mean, this is not a Penguin plot, but he doesn't really get one. He's more of a supporting character in this show.
I think this is the most Penguin we're gonna get, though.
It is, yeah. I'm honestly alright with this because he was always kind of a jobber before. I think he's actually cooler in this capacity, honestly.
You know, I like this persona for him, or this sort of position in the show for him is like. He has underdealings, but he's
the underdwellers.
He's the underdwellers. No, but yeah, he's just got
It's a good dynamic for him.
Yeah. He has these like henchwomen who are also like waitresses or something.
Yeah, they're like kind of almost like Playboy bunnies, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, this whole version of the show is very sexed up.
It is.
But don't worry, this won't come up again in this episode in particular. But yeah, I like Penguin in the show. So we'll talk about his design now, because this is closest to a Penguin episode as we're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this might be one of the more subjective kind of reviews of a character redesign, because he's very different.
He is.
Because I know they didn't like using the mutant one before. So now he's just kind of a little man with a big nose. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm absolutely kind of like 50-50 on which one I prefer. I don't know how you feel.
I like the old one a lot better. I don't care so much for the flipper hands, but other than that, like, he was just kind of a portly dude. Like, he looked cartoony, but, it was a cartoon, so it didn't stand out that much. But I don't know. I kind of like.
I like the contrast of him being a mutant but trying to present himself as dapper. I did like that, whereas now he's just kind of a dumpy little guy. I think I prefer the old design visually, but I like this sort of new role for him so much that I don't know. I also feel like this design kind of fits that image a lot more, like literally.
Sure, yeah.
Because I can picture him running this bar, but not so much Mutant Penguin.
I will say this, I like his voice a lot. I feel like it fits the old design better than the new one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they kept him on, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's... I don't know. Yeah, so I think I prefer the old one, but it's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with this one. It's,
Yeah.
It just
I slightly prefer the old one as well.
He's more mundane looking now, which is
yeah.
It is what it is.
You can almost pass for like a thorn or something.
Yeah. Which we have no more
almost.
thorn.
We really don't have many of the like just normal regular criminals. I almost said human. They're human. They're all human, but the less eccentric kind of characters. Yeah.
Like Thorn. We don't have Gleason. She's just gone.
Daggett.
Veronica is in this show, but she hasn't shown up yet. I don't think.
It's hard to well, yeah, no, not yet. No, we'll get to her.
It's just sort of weird. Like I thought she was gone, and then suddenly she shows up in a later episode. It's like, oh, okay, whatever.
She could be in like loads of episodes. All the women look the same.
It's true. She was.
Wait for the twist. Where it's just like it turns out Barbara was Veronica. They were the same person this whole time. Couldn't you tell we have red hair? Like, oh.
Oh god.
Anyway, so let's go back to this episode. So a little side detour for Penguin there.
Yeah, I mostly remember being a lot of like Roxy versus Penguin.
That's the most interesting part of this episode, in my opinion.
Yeah. Like I think she's trying to hawk shit with him, and he's just like, I don't want any of that. And
yeah, you draw too much attention.
Yeah. She's very bombastic. She like her. If you couldn't tell the whole thing, she's a thrill seeker. She likes to do crazy things. She has the never fear gas from Scarecrow, and she is always just being.
Maybe that's her origin. We don't get an origin for her.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
She was just an innocent stunt woman who then got dosed up with no fear gas.
Yeah, I think she's like a former like Hollywood stunt woman, and yeah, she just.
That bit wasn't a joke, yeah. It should be, I guess I should be clear. Yeah, she is a stunt woman. She did not meet Scarecrow, as far as we know.
But no, that's it. Like, and that's like her whole thing. She has this very like that's the vibe she gets off, and
whenever she's around, she has these character motifs. She has a very kind of old Hollywood theme that I appreciated whenever she's on screen.
Mm-hmm. But so they end up having like a fight in the Iceberg Lounge, I believe. And
yeah, her and Penguin, yeah,
and I just know it culminates in Penguin sending his ladies after her. It's just weird to see these like women in tights like sneaking around her like hangar, and it also features a scene of Batman showing up at Penguin's house at night and interrogating him, and there's this really funny bit where Penguin's like kind of slowly making his way towards a what do you call it? The thing
umbrella stand.
Umbrella stand. Yeah, like a thing that holds umbrellas. And as he's reaching for it, he hits like a thing that launches one out, but it's not an umbrella. It's just a fucking Tommy gun, like straight up.
I love that fake out because you just watch it and you're like, oh, he's like, yeah, I know where this is going, and he presses this pedal, and it just kind of the umbrellas on the top just shoot out of the way, and then like an actual Tommy gun. I love that fake out.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just like I'm. I don't know if they're trying to make a statement there, like, I'm done with this umbrella shit, I've just got a gun. Because that felt very kind of deliberate, like, oh, we're making fun of the old umbrella things. We're just, you think... I mean, I think he still uses the umbrella thing, so it's not like a complete rejection of that, but just in this one scene, it's just like, no, here's just an actual Tommy gun.
I love that. So yeah,
I like how prepared he is as well. I just,
Yeah.
Maybe not so much the design, but I just really like this version of Penguin. He's making.
He's written well as opposed to his fucking jobber state that he was in for the entirety of the animated series.
That being said, speaking of the writing, one of my downers for this episode is just how many fucking bird puns he comes up with when he's
Oh
talking to
yeah,
Roxy. Like,
yeah.
it's just constant. I'm like, oh, jeez, like enough
They
torture.
these characters have themes and they hit them so fucking hard, and it gets old pretty fast.
I never liked penguins just being general birds, though. I'm just like,
Yeah, that feels weird.
I like the iceberg lounge. I like the sort of Arctic or Antarctic theme that he's going for. I mean, it kind of steps on Mr. Freeze territory, but that's fine. But then I never liked him just doing like being the generic bird guy, just covering all birds. But anyway, I've said that before.
Yeah. So, and then I don't actually remember what happens. Like the Roxy has some sort of encounter with these women who are trying to attack him, and then they get subdued, and then Batman shows up to get Roxy, and it culminates in they're both riding on her rocket, and they're going over like a river or something, and on the other side is just like a big canyon wall, like just a big rock wall, and they're hurtling straight for it. And of course, she's the whole thing with her. She's the thrill seeker, so she's like, "Oh, we're gonna play a game of chicken now." So, first one who jumps off is the loser or something. And Batman's just like, he just crosses his arms. He's like, "Nope, I'm not getting out of this chair." And she's just like,
Not getting out of this chair.
Yeah. She's just like, and then it gets closer and closer, and it's like, oh no, something's gonna happen. And then she caves, and then she goes for like the controls, I think. And
then Batman stops her.
in the end, Batman grabs her, and then he's just like, "Oh, what's wrong? I thought you liked the going thrill seeking, the danger." And
how do we talk about this? I've been thinking about this for a while. I don't even know how to talk about this.
I just remember they jump off. I like he jumps up with her, I think, at the very last second, and then she loudly moans.
That's one way to put it. Yeah.
She, like, it's not subtle. It's
no.
I don't understand how the fuck it happened, but she got off on it. Like
she got off the rocket, you mean?
She got her rockets off.
Yeah.
Like straight up, no ambiguity. That
man, to have been in that recording studio that day.
Yeah, it's
the voice actress. For this scene, I just want you to get very excited. She's like, okay, I'll be excited. No, I mean like really excited. Like, this is the. What are you saying? This is the climax of the show. Hint, hint. Like, you sure? Like, this is a kid's show, right? Like, yeah. Notes from the censors, I guess. Good old WB. Fine with this. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have that image on the screen. I think that kind of
that screen.
Put in a sound to that.
That screen.
It is what it sounds like.
Hell
of a performance. Like you really get an idea of what she's feeling, though. Good performance.
So that was a fine episode of the show. That was we put low.
I never thought we'd have an episode of this kids show that's like so raunchy we can't even like comfortably talk about what happens at the end.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Uh-huh.
They really pushed the boundaries there. They really pushed her buttons. Oh no, Batman didn't let her push her buttons.
We put it.
I want to put it. Also, just to say, I'm just going to say it now as well. Like her riding around on a rocket.
No,
very suggestive imagery there as well. But right, it's time to move on. But what are we viewing this? It's not a bad episode. It's just fucking weird what they go away with.
Yeah, like honestly, it was a fine episode. Like we liked the action in it. The characters are meh.
It's kind of like, holy shit.
It, that happened, and, like, that happened.
Yeah.
Put it in B
But
somewhere.
it's got some good action. It's got some good action. Character definitely has a gimmick. I'll give her that. It's not. It's a bit more interesting just stealing for profit. Although they probably could have took it a bit too far, but
Yeah.
never mind. I like Penguin. I like them infighting.
For sure.
Yeah, it's not a bad episode, but
Nope.
oh boy, that ending. I also feel like that would have just gone over, that ending would have gone over my head as a kid, and then watching it as an adult. Yeah. Ah, okay. Yeah, I get it.
Did the censors just not get it? They're just like, oh, that was a weird sound. Whatever.
Oh, she sure is like.
Well, that's a strange noise she just made. I guess if I was being hurled towards
really,
a wall,
she must be really scared.
if I was being hurled towards a wall, I don't know what kind of sounds I would make, so I can't judge. I don't fucking know.
Maybe that was the only direction she got.
Just yeah.
Maybe the direction wasn't even it. She just made that sound in this booth, and they're just like, okay.
I guess we're using that now.
Oh boy.
So I don't know. I put it here. It's
Yeah, that's alright. I like the episode.
Although liked it too.
Yeah, maybe crank down. Yeah, maybe crank down the volume a bit of that ending if if you're watching it at work or something.
Yeah, don't show your mother that you're watching this. I do not.
No, it's a children's cartoon. I swear. Alright.
Cult of the Cat, episode 15. This is an episode about cats. Catwoman steals a cat thing from a clan of people who are cat themed. They look like Black Panther from Marvel, and they sick a panther on Catwoman, and then she's like, cats, and then the panther's like, oh, I'm mind controlled now, so I don't want to attack you anymore. So the panther attacks the cultist. And then
even when these Catwoman episodes are good, I always just kind of glaze over at the plot. I don't know what it is about her.
This one is.
This is dumb. This episode is dumb.
This episode's dumb. She gets away, she gets away with the help of Batman. Like Batman catches her in the Batmobile, and they get out. My brain's really frazzled. Oh my god.
I heard what you almost said.
I know. All right.
Boxy rock on the mind.
No. All right. So we're talking about Catwoman. They're being chased by the Black Panthers on these motorbikes, and then they knock out Batman's tire, and then the tire repairs itself. That was weird. And then.
I'm just picturing Boxy Rocket trying to pushing herself into your mind. You're just trying to move on from that.
Nope. Gotta go.
Not you anymore. Go away.
We're talking about Catwoman and her terrible episode.
Yeah.
So it turns out, I don't know, the leader of the cat cult is a guy named Catman, because there's literally a Catman, apparently. He has an actual name, but yeah, his comic name is Catman. He's just referred to as some name, I don't remember. And then
he has a name, probably.
He has a name, probably, I guess. I don't know. He's Catman because it's this cat episode. So Catwoman's like, oh, I should join the cat cult, and so I can rob them. And then she goes to the cult, and she's like, hey, I want to join your cult. And he's like, all right. And then his lady friend is like, I don't like her. We should kill her. And he's like, no, we have to give her a chance to join our cat cult so we can worship cats. Like the one I'm petting in my arms because I like cats. I'm Catman. We love cats. And so,
you're really speedrunning this.
I
don't mind.
I don't mind. I remember a lot about it, to be honest.
You're doing alright.
So Catwoman is in, he leads her to, a room of his big mansion or whatever. And then she's just, hanging out by herself. And then Batman shows up and he's like, Catwoman, what the fuck are you doing? And she's like, I'm here to steal everything in the room. Anything that's not nailed down, I'm going to steal it. And he's just like, sigh. Catwoman, you used to be so different. You used to not be pale. You're not blonde.
You to behave rationally.
Somewhat. You used to be an interesting character. And she's like, nope. I'm also horny as shit, by the way. And Batman's just like, all right, whatever. We gotta go. And then uh, there in there's this one shot. I just want to point this out. There's one shot where the door to the room is wide open, even though it's supposed to be closed. And then the next time you see it, it's being opened. It's like, oops.
Boy, I sure hope someone got fired for that blunder.
So the guy walks in and then finds them, and he's just like, get them, the cat cultist members. And Batman's like, nope, I'm gonna get out of here. And then Catwoman knocks him over the head and knocks him out. And then they wake up in like an underground coliseum, and Batman's in the middle of it, and then the leader's there, and he's with Catwoman, and they're like, we're gonna rule from our throne of cats. Send in our genetically modified cat. And then there's a giant cat, and it attacks Batman, and then Catwoman's like, damn, I didn't know that he was gonna get hurt. I better go help him. So she jumps down there, and then she hypnotizes the cat. Like, she does this...
Well, no, she doesn't immediately do that, because she kind of jumps in, and then she's like, oh, I'll save you. Oh, fuck, what am I doing? Oh, shit, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, it's just like...
like she does haste.
Yeah, and then... she's the fucking cat whisperer, so she just kind of goes like, hey, smell my paw, or smell my hand. Okay, now you're my friend now. Go attack the people I don't like. And so... the cat, like, jumps up and starts attacking the cultist, and then Catwoman, like, out of the little coliseum things that climbs the wall, and then she reaches out to help Batman, and Batman's apprehensive, and she's like, what, you don't trust me? And it's like, fucking, of course he doesn't! Literally, all you do is double-cross people now! So,
you don't trust me? No!
So then
she goes back. How many times did she go backwards and forwards in this one episode?
It's insane. It's fucking nuts. And then I don't know. They have a bunch of fighting every time, and then the guy gets thrown into the pit, and then the cat falls in the pit, and then the guy's like lady friend falls in the pit, and every time one of them falls in the pit, they just kind of lie there and just go like, "Ugh, I'm done." So that's the end of the episode. It cuts to one thing is that it cuts to outside the mansion. Batman's hanging out with Gordon, and he's just like, oh, so can we, get these guys? And Gordon's like, I don't know, there's not really that much evidence to convict them. And Batman's like, Catwoman! And then it cuts to Selina in her room, and she's covered with all the things
she's in Paris, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, is she? I don't know. I just know that she's there.
I think there's a shot of Paris.
She's in a room with Isis, and it just looks like her normal place, but anyway, she's got her cat Isis, and then she's laying in a bed full of fucking jewels that she stole, and that's the end. This episode fucking sucked.
Yeah, this episode is stupid. Okay, just the premise that there is apparently, but so it starts out with there's a cat cult that likes to steal, and you're like, oh, okay, obviously Catwoman's a member of that clan or something, or she's like, she's connected to them in some way, or they're inspired by her even. I don't know, what's the story behind them? Oh no, they just exist, and they have absolutely nothing to do with Catwoman. It is just a massive coincidence. The cult of the cat is just this huge coincidence. And you're like, alright, I guess that's not impossible, but man, that's weird.
Yep. That's yeah.
I was like, it's just a cult that from I think they say Egypt. It takes back to Egypt. Then they just worship cats and like to steal shit, and you're like, oh, Catwoman's a perfect fit for that. But yeah, it's like too fitting. Like, how specific is that? They had nothing to do with her. Like, that's what.
I don't know.
And she doesn't even infiltrate them, then she just immediately betrays them. I hate this version of Catwoman.
Yeah.
She sucks.
She sucks.
She just comes across as just this just cartoony, but not just in an irrational kind of way. Like, she's just an idiot. And nothing she does makes any sense. And she goes backwards and forwards so much, it gives me whiplash. Like, it's insane. And did I mention already I hate this design? Because I hate this design.
This design sucks. Her
personality is completely off.
Yeah. She used to be like a fun sort of like anti-hero sort of character. Like she
Yeah.
actually helped Batman. Like they worked together, and now she's just a petty thief who betrays people. That's her gimmick. She betrays people. So we wrote low C, high D. This is definitely going in D because can't think of a single thing that I like about it.
No, it's D. I don't know why. I don't even know why C is even considered.
Yeah, we'll put it next to Cold Comfort. How about that?
I think we just kind of speed run that, but not really complaining. But man, I got through that quickly. But
There's not a lot to say.
fuck this episode, so don't see it.
I think the note there, truly unremarkable beyond how cat-themed it is. That is, all you could say about it is it's weird how cat-themed it is. Other than that, fucking forgettable.
It's not even forgettable. It's just stupid.
Yeah,
It's just kind of remarkable how many times she can go backwards and forwards with like, playing different sides.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. Oh yeah, and I before we move on, I also want to acknowledge that she just magically has this. She's a normal human, right? Like she doesn't have powers, but apparently she can hypnotize any cat.
Yeah, that happened multiple times
Like
in this episode.
that's never been a thing.
Yeah.
Other than just like she's good with cats, but like the idea of just being able to hypnotize her, it happens twice. It's so weird.
Not only does the cat, it's like not like, oh, the cat likes her because she's good with cats. That she literally both times in this episode sicks the cat on the people who the cat was working for.
Yeah.
Like it's their cat, and then they get attacked by it because she's that good with cats. Like what?
It's like that's superpower territory.
Yeah, it's
Like, that's insane.
That's nuts.
She could just do that as well. It's just in what? It's not even like this version of it. It's just this one episode.
Yeah. Just this
Stupid episode.
It is a signifier.
Catwoman.
Yeah, a signifier of how bad the characterization of Catwoman is in this show. They have fucked up various characters. Jesus.
Critters.
Episode 16. Critters. This is this one. I know you've been excited to talk about this one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It centers around your new favorite character in all of media, Farmer Brown.
We didn't mention the Farmer Brown cameo in the Voxy episode.
No,
they foreshadowed this. That's why I rated it so well. It's like it's kind of alluding to. It's like we see Nick Fury in Iron Man 1. It's like Farmer Brown is coming. Get ready. Alright, so we're opening a agricultural expo that's like has a key speaker there, Farmer Brown, that's just his name. And he's found a way to basically through genetics research, he can create big animals, like big livestock. And he's like, hey, check out this big ass sheep. And sure enough, there was a big sheep there. And it's like, this will feed a small country for a year. Or he didn't literally say that, but it's a good idea. But then the sheep starts making a big ruckus. Bruce Wayne is there because he's like potential investor. And I think like Bruce does the whole kind of accidental beating the villain thing because he's not in his Batman persona. So I think I can't remember. He just like throws a curtain over it or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. So he wins the day. I think I forget if it was this episode or another one where he basically says to someone like, "Oh, I was just trying to get away" or something. And then Farmer Brown and his daughter. Well, according to the synopsis here, it says he goes to Arkham. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, I was gonna mention.
I don't think it's crazy.
This first sentence in the synopsis just seems wrong. It also states that a cow attacked the audience, but it was a sheep. So, yeah, yeah, that was.
Yeah, he's not crazy.
No,
well,
I think it's just wrong. Like,
he's definitely eccentric, but I don't think he's crazy.
You know, yeah, because I'm pretty sure they just say, like, "Yo, you have to stop your experiments. Like, you are now forbidden from doing
Yeah.
your genetic.
Also, you're insane.
Also, go to jail
No.
for a year. Like, what? I don't know, but yeah, no,
Weird. I don't know.
yeah, he is not allowed to do his shit anymore, and he's like, my livelihood, and
Um. Yes, and then so we go a year forwards, and then what does it start off with? We're in Gotham, and these giant mantises start praying mantisi.
there's a cafe
Start
scene where there's a lady who's just like, "There's a bug," and the waiter's just like, "What, in your soup?" And she's like, "No, behind you." And he turned around, and there's like a crowd of giant mantises just standing there. It's very silly.
Yeah, it's very 1950s B movie.
Yeah, and
Oh god, so Batman comes in to save the day. They're just making a ruckus, as they do. Probably the most interesting part is that he sprays. Thankfully, there's like an entire truck of insecticide just there. How convenient! And he sprays it in their faces, and it doesn't seem to do too much. And then it sort of attacks him. One of them attacks him. It gets its claws embedded in the truck, and then it pulls away, and its arms come off. Just kind of a little. It's not super gory, but it's a little more than I expected.
yeah.
And then they stop. After a while, they stop disintegrating, but they come to the conclusion that it was not not the poison that did it. It was programmed to die if it was poisoned.
No, so yeah, it cuts to a scene in the Batcave where the Bat family's around and Batman's on his computer and he's typing away, and he's like, "I looked at the DNA of these things. They are immune to poisons, but they were engineered to die when they are poisoned to prove a point." And I can't even begin to figure out what the fuck that's supposed to mean.
Something this weird is this has to be the Riddler. I don't know. Just
Very,
it's not
very
about
strange.
being poisoned. It's about sending a message.
Famous Riddler
Something I
line.
don't. Yeah. Oh god. If you can't tell, this is one of those episodes. In fact, this might be the episode of just being dumb as hell, but sort of knowing, like it's like deliberately so, but that doesn't really excuse it. The premise of this episode is just giant animals. Giant animals are attacking Gotham, led by a farmer.
Yeah, a farmer who
Is this the time to talk about him? Well, he lives. We cut to his evil lair, which is at first glance looks like a sunny farm out in the country, which you presume. But then you look a bit more carefully, and it's got the little like dynamite heady thing. And you're like, oh, this isn't real. This is like a set. And it turns out it's like this. What's the word? Like sort of a biome, like this sort of Truman Show like dome that's in somewhere in Gotham. And
it's on an island.
They don't explain this. Yeah, it's on an island
a little
outside
tiny
of Gotham.
island. Yeah, right outside of Gotham, which is, I guess, prominent. I don't know why it's prominent, but they keep bringing up the fact that it's on this little island.
And it's like it's a fake farm. Like that's what it is.
Yeah. It's like it's got like
why? Like I don't know why, but it is. So it's setting up that it's Farmer Brown here, but great name by the way.
Yeah.
Thank God. His thing is like he's an extremely stereotypical like American farmer, complete with his drawl and just constant kind of what do you call them, like expressions, like it's just the old timey kind of talk, like he kind of looks like American Gothic. He and his daughter, and but the catch is that he's super high tech, and he's both like a mechanical genius and a genetics expert.
Well, he doesn't really
okay.
use technology. It's just that he has high-tech gear, like his setting is high-tech, but all he does is just send genetic animals at people, and I guess
Yeah,
bugs.
but he must be skilled. He must be skilled in both fields, though, if he's doing all this. I mean, yeah, he uses the genetics as the actual threat, but he's building all this stuff as well, I presume. And I don't know if he just ordered this. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't even know what the purpose of this biome is, other than just having a funny location. And there's this interesting shot of him going up in an elevator. It's like on the wall, and it's only then you realize, like, oh, that's a fake skybox.
Yeah.
This character's kind of insane, but not like not like oh, he's completely out. It's just someone designed him. Someone came up with this character.
They took this really mundane character design and then made him like extremely capable of just bizarre things.
He doesn't look. Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem. He doesn't look. His visual design doesn't match up with what he's actually doing. It's not. He looks very underwhelming, but he's doing all sorts of crazy things. Like his design just needs a little bit more. Needs to be just a bit more flamboyant. I don't know. But then again, that's also kind of the joke, because he just seems so down to earth, and then he's got like this Maxi Zeus pitchfork that shoots lightning.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Weird.
about that.
I guess he does use a bit of technology.
Yeah, he has his Daisy Duke daughter, who is also something hormones genetic. She's like super strong. Like, she looks kind of just scrawny, but then she could just like fucking chuck people around. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that later on in the episode, she gets into a fight, and she's like ultra strong. She just deflects any blows thrown at her. It's just two-word explanation: beef steroids.
Oh yeah.
And not to overthink like a cartoon again, but like, it doesn't make her bulky. She doesn't look strong. It's just what I wrote is like she's strong like a Kryptonian, because like Supergirl, she looks a lot like Supergirl, by the way.
Yeah.
She doesn't have extra muscle mass, but she's just strong. Which I get that for Kryptonian, because it's an alien, you can say whatever. But she's just like still quite skinny, but she can just deflect blows. I don't know. I'm overthinking this. This episode is insane.
Yeah.
So he breeds like mutant farm animals. Like that's the plot of the episode. He's just kind of wants revenge on the city because he got into trouble once. And the whole thing is just like this monster thing. And this episode there's a bull. There's mutant chickens that kind of look like vultures, but the chickens, according to the commentary. I should say we also listened to the director's commentary just because it was available, and I found this episode so fascinatingly weird. I was like, okay, well, and they only did like selective commentaries, and this was one of them, and it basically opens with a lot of people don't like this episode.
Yeah.
So they opened it like, why are you doing a commentary on this episode? Because a lot of people don't like it. I'm like, yeah, okay. And it basically said this villain in this whole episode, it would be kind of like if the Adam West show did another season, like he would have fit in comfortably there.
Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely true. I can definitely picture Farmer Brown in being in the 60s show with his mutant animals. So yeah, there's not much to say. His mutant animals attack. This episode is overloaded with like animal puns and sight gags. Like probably the most blatant one is the mutant bull that charges into a china shop.
Yeah. There's like a bunch of like banter with like Tim Drake and Barbara they're the ones who have like getting pushed around by the bull and the Batmobile, and Drake is just like, oh, we're a little busy right now, as he's like spinning around and.
Yeah, and he's gonna like die.
Yeah, and
that's a load of bull.
Oh yeah. God, Batman gets chased by the chickens.
The chickens, yeah, and he's got that jetpack again.
Yeah. Someone accidentally put this Animaniac script on the desk of the Batman team. I like that. It's the chickens like chase Batman around. He's like flying around in the jetpack, and then he ends up at a fucking barbecue factory where they make B, B, and Q because they have
Yeah, and they mix it up.
yeah, they have 3 tanks labeled B, B, and Q. So, and
So the commentary actually kind of revealed like what was going on there, why that may have changed, because it was originally supposed to be oil. But the joke was supposed to be that they got covered with oil, and then they would be set on fire, and the joke is fried chicken. But the censor just like, no, you can't really burn animals alive on this show. We let you get away with a lot, but not that. So they changed it to barbecue sauce, and they were saying in the commentary, it's like, this doesn't really make a lot of sense now because they're just defeated by getting some barbecue sauce splashed on them, which is still a joke there, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I guess
So
it's
now
boiling
BB
hot.
and Q.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just whatever. They get covered in brown liquid, and it's just like, oh, they're dead now. It's like, all right, cool. So
Then we get like we may have been. I put the image here. The order might not be right, but anyway. We then get to the probably the most unhinged scene in maybe all of Batman. I mean, that might be debatable, but this is absolutely insane. We go to Gotham PD. I think like Bullock's on his desk, and like while he's not looking, something eats his donut. He's like, "Hey, who did that?" And then I think is Batman there? Batman's there, right?
Yeah.
On the desk, yeah. He's talking to Gordon, and then this goat walks in, and it's like really shot really dramatically. It's really dark. It's actually quite intimidating. And then the goat starts speaking in Farmer Brown's voice. It says something like, but like with like a sort of a bleating kind of thing, like I've been created by Farmer Brown to. I've been genetically made to deliver this message. It's like what? Like, what the fuck? And it's like, follow me, and you get the ransom or whatever it was. Like, they have to follow this. Bullock has to follow this goat to the dock to drop off like the ransom money to save the city. It's like, well, instead of just sending a letter or something, or just a telephone call, it's a genetically engineered goat made just specifically to give a message to the police. Absolutely insane.
I believe that.
Like,
that shot should be next to the note that just says this episode is fucking stupid, because I'm pretty sure that's when I wrote that.
I kind of respect it though. That is so unhinged. Like I kind of respect the hustle. Like that is absolutely ridiculous. They could have just sent a letter. Like someone wrote that down. It's like this is what happens. Absolutely insane.
Well, he can't go on TV because like Joker's taking all the airtime.
Yeah. Put the goat on TV. People of Gotham. This is the goat show. So Bullock like follows the goat onto this ship, and the farmer's daughter's there. And then she like throws him off, and he's like, no, I'm not dealt with that easily. So the boat is taking off, and bear in mind, it's not like a speedboat or something, but it's like a proper motorboat. And then Bullock, who seems a little out of shape, somehow managed to catch up with it.
Yeah.
Just the way it's shot. And then he's like captured. So it's like, why even have like he was thrown off, then he caught up, and then he was captured. Why not just capture him? I don't know. And why not just send a letter to the police? Why program a goat?
Send a goat to police. Say, get Bullock out of here. He's cramping my style.
Oh my god. So he's captured, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of forgot that the farm was a set. My brain just kind of went like, oh, they're out in the countryside now. I was like, no, it's not real. Because I actually wrote down, like, oh, what's Robin swinging on? Oh, that's an animation flow. And like, no, they're not actually outside. I'm like, oh yeah. So they get there, and then they just have a fight. We've kind of spoken about this already. The beef steroids for the daughter.
Yeah.
The Maxi Zeus pitchfork. I think they just win by. I think she just grabs Robin or Batgirl. I can't even remember. Just like, hey, back off, or I'm going to tear his head off or something. Y'all. And then I cannot stress how eccentric these characters talk. Like they both have like a real like stereotypical drawl. You know, like real thick.
Yeah.
It's not how would they look is exactly how they sound.
Yeah, yeah.
Looking at the picture of them there, it's like, yep, they sound exactly what you'd imagine. So they get thrown into a rocket, and it's full of like the mantises, like the eggs that are about to hatch, and he's gonna fire that at Gotham. Why are the mantises in it? I guess we're gonna hatch there.
I just
They're in a rocket. They're captured in a rocket. Batman has a plan. He's like, what does he do? Like beckons them over or something. I can't even remember.
Oh, I think it's because they established earlier that their like sides or whatever can break through iron, or they could
Oh, right, yeah.
So I think he gets them to hit the wall and the door or something and break it open. I like Bullock reviews this episode where he was just like, yeah, you after everything you've been through, you're gonna get killed by a bunch of bugs. Like, yeah. Very self-aware.
And then who drives the thing into the rocket? Because you wrote down it's like the bit in Die Hard 3.
Oh yeah.
Die
Hard 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking of Die Hard 3, the game, where the final boss, you have to drive a car into a helicopter. That's why I got a bit confused. Because they were ahead of the curve there. Anyway.
I don't remember. I don't remember any. I actually do not remember what happens from here, other than just
someone drives the car into the rocket, and that disturbs the planet. And they're out. Tom Brown and his daughter out on a boat, and like, oh wow, sure is pretty. And then it explodes. Like, no. And then you think about, right, so that's that dealt with. Now we need to take down these two. But then like a bit of the debris just hits their boat, and they fall in the water. And that's them dealt with, I guess. Like, they're not really taken down. They stop the rocket, but they're never like physically stopped. They just have their boat knocked over, and that's it done for, I guess.
I don't even remember.
Didn't take fish steroids or something to swim good. I don't know.
I just remember that the ending shot is like, it's like, oh, we got them, and then it pans over to the island that the farm was on, which we say I think because it's not really like well established where it is. Like, I remember it's kind of vague, but they needed a boat to get there, so I assume it's the island. And it pans over to the island, and then you just hear like animal noises coming from the distance, and we're just like, I guess that's where the farm was. Sure, okay. I don't know what that's implying. It's like, well, there are animals over there, but no one.
Get ready for Animal Act.
Oh God. Yeah.
This episode is terrible, but it's so terrible I kind of like it in a twisted way. Don't worry, I am not putting this in S rank. I have not completely gone mad. But it's so stupid, I kind of like it in a weird way. It's terrible. Like it's so bad. But it's
again, I wrote one note for this, and it was just, this episode is fucking stupid. Because
this was the one when we were watching it together, I was like, we're watching a cartoon, like we were watching a children's cartoon. I'm trying to be doing this the whole time, but this is like the first time I was really like, why are we watching this? Are we a bit old for this?
Oh God. Yeah. No, I know.
You need to talk me out of doing something insane. You need to remind me this is bad.
I'm putting this in Baby Mad.
It is Baby Mad.
I don't like Batman in My Basement. It's kind of similar. It's like, it's funny. Like, if you saw it, you might have a good time because it is so stupid.
I would recommend it.
Yeah,
like, ironically.
I recommend this one. It is so stupid that it's worth it. But like, when you really break it down, this is just like, this is nonsense.
Yeah, it is.
Listening to the commentary, I kind of get what they were thinking, but they were just, this is silly. This is just too silly.
Yeah.
it's it just
Yeah, no, it's ludicrous. Especially, and I mean, again, if I'm comparing this to Joker's Millions, and I'm putting Joker's Millions down for being inconsistent with Batman the Animated Series, and this it's absolutely inconsistent with Batman the Animated Series.
absolutely,
So, yeah, but yeah, we'll put it on the top there because at least it's.
It is the most watchable of the D tiers, but it is
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
it is.
I like Bomber Brown though; he's just so stupid. He's definitely gonna like bank up with sort of a running joke kind of character, just one of those. Like the sort of cult kind of thing.
Yeah. We're gonna end up having emotes of this guy because we're gonna make a bunch of jokes about him for the next year or so.
Probably. Yeah. Animal Act.
Animal Act. So, last note I wanted to make, again on the writer-director sort of thing. Story by Steve Gerber.
Okay.
A brief glance at Wikipedia told me that's the guy who made Howard the Duck. Just thought that was funny.
Okay.
That I feel like that explains that episode.
Right.
So, anyway, Animal Act. This one starts off with a guy in a trench coat jumping around on rooftops, and Robin is chasing him, and very quickly it's pretty obvious that's an ape. That's an ape in a coat. So, I don't know. It somehow it gets revealed, and then or not Robin, Nightwing, Dick Grayson. He's like, wait a second, I recognize that ape. That's the one ape that I know.
Right.
So, I think it ends up getting away, and Grayson's just like, man, what the hell? I'm gonna go investigate what's going on with the circus, because the circus is in town, and, Robin, his origin is in the circus. That's his place. That's how
Yeah, sorry, carry on. I'll say it in a minute.
that's, where he grew up and everything. So, he goes there, and he's looking around, and he's just like, hey, I thought I saw I don't remember the ape's name, but that ape.
Peaches.
Peaches, yeah, that's right, yeah.
So I saw that on the note,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, why have we put the emoji for like an ass? And it was like, how to pronounce ass? Like, what was the context for that? And I was like, wait, no, that's the ape's name. That's why I started laughing.
Oh, right. Fair enough.
Why did you call her Peaches? Because she's got a big head.
Okay, so, yeah, he's just like, he goes to the circus and he sees the ape in the cage and he's like, oh, I guess it wasn't Peaches then. I just, I don't know. And so he ends up talking to the new, leader of the circus, who is something Kane.
No, I think she's just in charge of the animals, I think.
Oh, sure.
Miranda Kane.
Animal trainer Miranda
the animal
Kane.
trainer.
Yeah. I don't know if she has any relation to the other Kane character from the Zatanna episode, but...
Yeah, it's a daughter. I don't know.
I mean, it might be. Straight up, I thought that was what they were implying, but they never mention it, so... whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I don't know. What was that random sign that said it's Kane? Maybe that was her.
They just love the name Kane.
It was an ad for the circus. It was an ad for the circus.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Anyway.
So... yeah, he talks to her, and I think she recognizes him, and they have a bit of banter, and he's just like, hey, you gotta make sure that you're on the up and up, because the animals are attacking people, and you would be the person to do that if anybody would, that I know. And she's just like, shove off. And going by the next note, I guess...
She looks like a villain, by the way.
She does, yeah.
She's very much a red herring, yeah.
Yeah, they're implying that she's the one doing it. Going by the notes, the next thing we have written down references the fact that at one point, Batman is in Nightwing's garage, and they're having this thing where Batman's just like, do you know anything about this? And Nightwing's just like, dude, if I knew anything, I'd tell you. And they just have a stare down, and then Batman's belt phone starts ringing, and they're just staring at each other, and then finally he answers it, and that's why I wrote down, "What do you want? I'm staring at dick." Because like, which I didn't even intend that to be like an immature joke. I just straight up thought it was funny that he's just like, "What do you want? I'm staring at Nightwing." Like,
That's exactly what you meant, but that's fine.
it's, oh my god, it was just,
Staring at dick, like, all right, Bruce. Well, I won't judge.
yeah, but it was just very silly. And then, uh, some bears start attacking something
Oh, not
that next
bears.
night, and it's like, oh, these bears are also from the circus, maybe, but yeah, between this and the last episode, we were just like, man, there's a lot of Batman fighting animals lately. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, yeah, I never enjoy that.
Yeah,
Fighting
yeah,
animals is just kind of whatever.
it's silly.
It's just kind of dull,
Yeah,
you know.
um, then yeah, there's really nothing else written here other than just there's a lot of
It's
like,
back and forth, like,
yeah,
oh, who's doing this? And is it that lady? Blah 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 blah.
they. Oh, and then another thing that I should point out is that while I think Dick takes Drake to the circus with him whenever he first goes there to investigate.
Oh yeah,
And that's like a
this
minor,
arc.
yeah, that's something, a minor thing where like Tim Drake is like, oh wow, growing up in a circus, that sounds awesome. I love the circus. I'd love to, work there, to be there, live there.
With
And
the Carney life.
yeah, he's all excited about it. That ends up coming up at the very end. And then there's this clown who is very obviously the Mad Hatter.
Yeah, yeah.
I like I he's supposed to be,
It's when you remember that he has a new design. It's
yeah.
obvious.
Yeah, especially, yeah, since we've seen it already in that weird dream episode. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's just kind of around. Like you see him once in the first time there at the circus, and then apparently Bullock's here and interrogating probably Kane, and then the clown is just hanging out on Bullock's car and making a scene with like doing the silent mime thing.
Yeah, it's like it's good thing to do when you're doing crimes and
Yeah,
trying to keep the low profile.
yeah. It's like, oh, okay, this is the Mad Hatter episode. They're being mind controlled. That's what's going on.
He's
Oops.
stepping on Joker's territory here.
Yeah. So, we don't really have anything written other than, the reveal. So, probably nothing interesting happens. But eventually it leads to...
He gets like locked. He fights some lions in a cage or some shit. Or was that afterwards? No,
I
that's
don't...
afterwards. He
No, yeah,
goes
it's...
and then-
There's just like a big fight scene where like Mad Hatter reveals himself in the circus tent like at night, and there's a bunch of mind controlled like circus performers and animals like just around, and they have a bunch of fights. There's like an axe thrower.
Oh, those what, like 6 axes in alignment.
Yeah, and a line, like just a line attack. It's like a wave of axes. It's a weird sight. I guess, yeah, no, I guess now we should probably talk about...
Circus folk make good kind of physical threats. Your strong man and sword swallowers and whatnot, you know.
Yeah, fire breathers, stuff like that. Oh yeah, because that's actually relevant because the fire breather guy breathes fire, and then it hits Mad Hatter's hat, which is how he's controlling everybody. It's got like circuitry inside of it and shit. And then it catches fire, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, we're back to normal now." And
It just kind of looks like they're reacting to this hat.
yeah, it's like, "Oh
Like
no,
out
we
of
burnt
context.
it."
No, that lovely hat.
Yeah. And then, what is it? Like he just runs away, and then he gets the ape like jumps on him and just stomps him, and he's just like, "Ugh, mildly inconvenienced," even though he should probably be fucking dead. But oh, he also Alice in Gunderland. He pulls out a fucking pistol at some point. He's just like, "Fuck
I'm
it."
sure he did that in Warrior Man. I'm pretty sure he had to pull out a gun out of his hat.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Just there was something funny about it. Just like, "I got a gun. Get back." It's like when mind control doesn't work. Firearms, whatever.
Yeah. Right, this design.
We should talk about design. Yeah. I hate it. I hate it a lot.
Right.
It's
Okay.
it is. He is now short for some reason. He wears this dull green color, which just, I don't know. It just looks kind of ugly. And
Yeah.
I don't know. He just looks wildly different. He has white hair now, for some reason.
He's physically changed a bit too much, hasn't he?
Yeah, yeah. I guess that's to match the perception of the character from Alice in Wonderland. Because I think
I guess so. I don't know if he's
kind of
like
small.
short.
I think he's depicted that way usually, but maybe I'm
think
wrong.
so,
I don't
yeah.
even know. I just know that.
Well, how was he depicted in that awful Johnny Depp movie?
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't hate it as much as you do, but I certainly don't like it. He looks like some little gremlin or something. I don't know.
yeah,
Um, I think the thing that gets me is just how different he is, and I think losing like half of his height. So the original was like pretty tall. At least he looked quite lanky,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he looked like he would tower over people. And they just went the absolute opposite direction for this design. And again, if this is in continuity, that's weird. At least like the Joker thing, like you can sort of like hand wave as like a perception thing, you know. But when you're physically like actually smaller, then yeah, that's how is it the same person? But
I think that is why I dislike it so much. Is because it's so different. Like they just didn't need to change it, and they did, and it just feels weird. Like some of the characters, like Harley, don't look any different at all, and then some characters got completely redesigned, and this is one that I don't understand.
yeah, I mean, I can sort of see the original not really working in this format, but that they could have done better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly,
Thankfully, his voice is consistent. That's still
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. I honestly just the color scheme. If they kept the color scheme, I think I'd like it a lot more because there's just something about this drab, like olive and dark green that just doesn't work. It's just weird looking.
Yeah, it's not the Mad Hatter. He should be more eccentric.
Yeah.
You know, I think he should be brighter. I'm just trying to think like how. Like I type in Mad Hatter, and the first result is the DC character. Oh my
Nice.
god, I've got nothing but that awful Johnny Depp. I meant a
Uh-oh.
historical one, but no, I was just kind of looking up like how he's traditionally depicted, and yeah, this does seem in line. I mean, it looks a lot like the Disney version, funnily enough.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, not a fan of this design, but at least he didn't recast his voice. He's all great.
Yeah, yeah.
He has to give this very elaborate intro though, because partly because we're in like a new season, but also I feel like we just wouldn't recognize him. Like, who the hell is this? I'm
Right.
the
Yeah.
Mad Hatter. Like, wasn't he taller? Like, no. I've always been the Mad Hatter.
I was
I was
taller
always
because I was
short.
sick. Wait, hold on.
Thick.
Hold on.
I was taller because I had gigantism, and then I got better. Like what? No.
Oh, so. And
Yeah, we've kind of told the whole plot, and then at the end, it ends. He gets defeated. The Peaches gets him, and then as punishment for wanting to be working the circus, Tim is forced to scoop up shit. That'll teach him.
yeah, there's like this weird
What?
bit where it's just like, oh, Tim's so excited that he finally gets to live a week at the circus, and it shows him shoveling shit in the cage, and it's like he's just like, well, thanks. Like,
It implies that because I like his cage. Put him in a cage.
but it was funny because you would like you were just you asked me, you're just like, wait, why do they punish him? What did he do? And I'm just like, it's just part of a
I was like,
gag.
did I miss a dialogue or something? Like, no, he's. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just like it's just a gag of just like he likes living at the circus. He likes the idea of it, so we're gonna give him harsh reality.
Teach him a lesson.
It's like
Yeah, the circus fucking sucks.
it's like
That's why you should stay in school.
it was just very weird. It was just out of nowhere. Just like, by the way, fuck him. Like, okay.
Yeah, because I kind of forgot about that little arc of his. They just cut to him shoving himself. Like, hang on, what did he do again?
It's like, he's the Mad Hatter, by the way. He really got redesigned.
I highlighted this when it happened, but I was writing these pros and cons on my tablet. It did the autocorrect thing, and it says, "Does anyone really enjoy watching Batman fight?" And it replaced animals with Schumacher. I was like, you know, that's too fitting. I'm not gonna change that. I mean, you know, Batman Forever was really not a very good movie. So
God. I like initial tier C because I'm feeling generous. Like,
this last a D episode. This episode sucked.
yeah, it
I just don't get anything out of him fighting animals. It's lame.
I think the only thing that would make me actually put this in C is just that I like Mad Hatter. He's still being Mad Hatter, so he's fun.
Yeah, I suppose that's the one redeeming thing.
But no, I'm gonna put that at the top just because I didn't hate this episode in any fashion, but it was. It is.
Another fun fact for you. When I looked at like it was on a forum post. This is also one of Bruce Timm's least favorite episodes. He hates this episode.
Huh. I guess I don't. I'm not like that confused by it, but it's like, I don't know. There's some other episodes here, like
They're not critters. He's trying to. I don't think he was like a defender of that. Actually, he was like, "Oh, people hate this episode, but you know, it's just got some fun ideas."
Right.
So,
right.
Anyway, but whatever.
Okay. Old Wounds, episode 18.
Tim and Dick.
Tim and Dick.
They are they meet up. I think they're like, yeah, Robin's taking some guys down, and then Nightwing comes in to help. So it's just those two, and then they have a chat. And they're like, hey, what happened between you and Bruce? You were so great together. Like, what happened? And he said, he said something like, people change.
Oh, yeah.
No, what does he say? It's like a line, and like he says, oh, funnily enough, Batman said the exact same thing. He's like, oh, okay. Like, that's annoying. And then, so basically they have a heart-to-heart, and it's a flashback episode, and finally, after all 18 episodes in, we're finally getting trying to find out what happened to Dick Grayson, the original Robin.
This is all we find out. There's a lot.
Yeah. And also, yes, Barbara as well. Like, we finally explained that, because I'm kind of used to it now. We just kind of forgot that, she just somehow got mixed up with them.
We kept
from
asking.
Being, like, kind of an independent, yeah.
So, the flashback starts with Barbara and Dick like going on a date after he graduated, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets a pager message which from Batman, and he's just like, hey, I gotta go, and she's just like, what and he's like, I did business, and she's just like, what in the hell? So he goes to do there's something going on with the Joker, and you're introduced to a guy named Connor, who's like, he's Sid the Squid 2, as I wrote. Like, he's just
reluctant.
He's just kind of a guy who was hired to be Lookout, but he's not like a big threat or anything.
Kind of reminds me of like Killing Joke Joker, when you just like, oh, you just be watch out, and he's like, oh, well, okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. So they kind of introduce him. There's a shot of Joker looking in a mirror and like looking himself over, and I only mention that because it comes up again later, and there's this weird thing in the back of my head that I'm like, is Joker checking out his own redesign?
Like, where are my lips gone?
He's like, what happened to my eyes? What the hell? But
why didn't you tell me my eyes have gone weird?
It's a very strange thing. Like, it just happened again. It was weird. But he's in a warehouse or something, and he's setting up something. Connor's outside doing Lookout, and then Batman sneaks in or something. There's a confrontation with Batman and Robin and Joker.
We get Dick, like original Robin, like in this animation format now.
Oh yeah.
That was a novelty.
Yeah. I guess it looks like you expect, really.
It's kind of funny because we're like, it doesn't really matter, but we're like in this the animated series timeline, kind of. Because we're pre-time jump, but then Joker's still got this new design. Again, I know it's all like metaphysical; it doesn't actually matter. I just kind of find it funny that it's supposed to be in that time period, and he's got this design.
That's why I said, like, he kept checking himself out, because he's just like, why do I look different all of a sudden?
That was the day it happened. That's the day he changed.
He's like,
He evolved.
I don't remember looking like this, but whatever. He doesn't seem to mind it. But the long and short of it is that the Joker gets away. Connor gets followed by Batman up into his apartment, and
Robin makes it first.
Oh yeah,
To his
yeah.
apartment, and he confronts, and then we see like his wife and son there.
Yeah, the kid's just like, I'm gonna get you with his little laser gun. He's like, pew, and then it, just kind of humanizing Connor a bit. And then Batman shows up and like just pins the guy to the wall and is just like being real rough with him and just like, what do you know? And Robin's just like, dude, like, do we have to do this? And
Like in front of his family.
Yeah, and Batman's just like, he's ignoring him. He's just like, I just tell me what you know. And Connor,
There's a little sweet bit with his son going, "Oh, don't hurt my daddy,"
Yeah. It's it's a emotional scene in a sense. Not too emotional, but it's well done.
Yeah.
And I think Robin just like leaves. He's just like, I'm out of here if you're gonna do this shit.
Yeah. And and bear in mind, he's already pissed off about having to leave Barbara.
Oh yeah.
So like he's already like there. He doesn't really want to be there in the first place, and then that happens. He's like, "Ugh, why am I even doing this?"
Yeah, and so Dick goes back to, he goes to Barbara's house at 3 in the morning. I remember. Oh yeah, I even wrote it down. And he goes in there and he starts ranting. He's like, I can't believe him. And Barbara's like, who? And he's like, I can't tell you. I shouldn't have come here. Gotta go. It was like very weird. Where he's like,
to be fair, I've done similar things. I'm like, oh, but never mind. Sorry.
He's just like, but he showed up at her house at 3 in the morning to start ranting, but like realized only then, oh, I can't tell her literally any of this, so
Yeah.
I gotta go. And she's just like, what the hell? So she goes to Bruce, and she's like, she's telling him all about this stuff, and he's just like, oh, you really care about him, huh? And he's like, okay, I'm Batman, by the way. And then he just takes her to the Batcave, and
Yeah.
she's just like, what in the hell? And he's just like, well, I know that you're Batgirl.
Yeah, she's like, I'm Batgirl. And it's like, yeah, I know. I'm not stupid.
Yeah. He's just like, yeah, I know. And it's just like, that's
your
the funny
head's
thing.
sticking out of your costume, idiot. Like, oh.
It was almost kind of like what, they're just gonna hand wave that away, and it's like, nah, it's Batman. He would know.
That absolutely makes sense.
Yeah, that works. Oh, that was where they do that gag. I've seen a clip of it before, where they walk into the Batcave. Alfred shows up, or Alfred's there, and he's just like, yes, the secret's out. I'm Batman.
I like that bit.
And Bruce is like, no, it's fine.
Good.
She knows.
No, give it up.
Yeah.
Master Wayne, should I deploy the robot stunning gas?
Alfred, you're fired.
Should I put... She's quite young. Do you think she'd be applicable for the child amnesia machine?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
So yeah, Joker goes on TV and he's like, send me $40 million.
Hello! Welcome to the Joker show again.
Yes. He's on TV again. And he's like, send me $40 million.
After Justice League, it's not the last time he'll be on TV.
Yeah. Well, I just like, he's like, just send me money. And I don't think he says where he is. He just
because you have to figure out where he is, don't you?
Yeah. But then he's just like, I want money. And they're just like, wait, huh? I mean, me too, man, but... So yeah, this is the second...
Batman, I can't pay my rent anymore.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's the second shot of him looking at himself in the mirror. Again, I don't know if it's because he's just going to be on TV or what. Like, it's just a weird thing that they keep doing. But anyway...
What's his threat again? What's he threatening?
He has a machine that does something. I'm not
I know
gonna...
he's on the top of a skyscraper, so it's like involves that.
I think it like can
There's
knock
like a
down
plane that flies over.
Yeah.
It was like he was messing with like the air traffic system.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he was disrupting like the radio bands for air traffic control.
Uh-huh. So
I felt like a detective there trying to like put it together. That he's on top of a building. And well, then there was a plane that flies by over the internet. I've got it. I know what his plan is. The one he told us about, and we forgot. Batman, that wasn't a mystery. He literally told us what to do. Shut up. I forgot. Oh right, you got me. I wasn't listening. Okay.
I'm a little blurry on this. Yeah.
He's got the jetpack again, we've noted. So we can see how that pre-Firefly.
Yes.
They confront Joker on the rooftop here. And I feel like Joker doesn't... I wrote down he kind of feels like a third wheel in this story. It's all about the Bat family, he's just kind of there. Like, granted, he has to instigate the plot, but I remember that... yeah, so Bruce and Barbara are at like the Batcave, and they have to go out. Bruce is like, "I've got to stop this," and she's kind of like, "Oh, well, I could help," and he's like, "Yeah, I guess you could." And then Dick comes later to the Batcave, and it's like, and Alfred's like, "Oh, Barbara was here." And they're like, "Well, where's she now?" And he's like, "They were left on business." He said, "What kind of business?" He said, "You know, that kind of business." He's like, "What the hell?"
Oh, right.
Yeah. So he tears after her. I forget exactly when he learns like she's Batgirl. Because obviously Bruce tells her that he's Robin.
Yeah.
And I forget when he learns the vice versa.
I think so. Yeah. The note about her falling off the building, she gets like knocked off or something. She's falling, and then Robin shows up just in time to like catch her. And then
at the base of the building, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like that's like the sort of like, oh well, obviously that's who that is now. Like now we figured it out because she's here in the Batgirl costume. So so and then yeah, he goes up there. There's more fighting, and then the Joker gets stopped, and it ends with.
I remember a plane flying overhead like it's a big threat.
Yeah,
I don't quite get it. Because it's like, what was it gonna like? Okay, it was kind of like directionless because of his plan, but it was really like a countdown thing when it was flying over. Was it the threat was going to fly into the building? But then why was Joker up there if that was the threat? I don't know. It's just weird that they put so much emphasis on this plane. I just remember that.
They tried to make a threat, but I don't know.
Like a deadline for the action.
Yeah. It was. They just like, oh, we can't just do bombs again. We've done that too many times. Fucking helicopter air traffic. I don't know. He has a machine that's bad.
Yeah.
But it does.
Anyway, so they beat the Joker. The Joker is not the point of all this.
Yeah.
And then they have an argument on a rooftop. You know, like he's like, Robin's like, why didn't you tell me, Barbara, that you were Batgirl? It's like, well, and she says something like, "Oh, Batman already knew that she was Batgirl," and Rob's like, "That really pisses Robin off." He's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" She's like, "She's getting into danger," and he's like, "Oh, I didn't think it was necessary to tell you." And then he just like, and then he eventually just ends up punching him. Quite dramatic.
Yeah.
And he throws his he throws his like cape and mask to the floor. And just like, yep, never again. Like, you know, you need to keep me in the loop. I'm just sick of this. And that's kind of it. And then cuts to the present day. And Tim's like, oh, why don't you help him out? You know, and I guess he just like, I don't know if I could. But it's like, you already like helped him out a bunch of times in previous episodes. I was like, oh yeah, I guess I did. Alright, yeah, I guess I'll go and help him now. And it's like, well, that would have felt a lot more significant if we hadn't had several Nightwing team-up episodes by this point, but sure, okay. I feel like it should have aired a lot sooner.
I think it's okay because, like, there's a lot of animosity between them, even in those episodes. Like,
sure.
He does the right thing.
Especially that Catwoman one.
Yeah. Like, he does the right thing, but he's not he's working, like, hand in hand with them, you know what I mean? Like...
I got you. Yeah, I know.
So, like, I just feel like, just at least pointing out, it's like, it's not done terribly or anything, but it is kind of silly how much he's teamed up with them despite of all of this. But I do really like the last scene of this episode where I actually forget how they get there, but they go to Tim and Nightwing and Robin go to these like security desk at a building, and there's like, hey, what's going on? And then the guy's like, and I think Grayson's like, I recognize this guy, and he's like, it's Connor. He's like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about this bit. It's a good bit as well.
He's like, oh yeah, Bruce got me a job working at this building, and I love that guy. I'm so glad that he's turned my life around. And Grayson's just like, all right, yeah, I guess something.
He's not a bad guy.
Yeah. He it's just a nice acknowledgement. It's like, he gets rough whenever he does his Batman shtick, but he's still a good guy at the end of the day. So
I like that bit. Yeah, I almost completely forgot about it. It's a really good bit.
So yeah, and then that's it. Yeah, that's it.
That's one of the few serious episodes of this version of the show.
Yeah.
It's not as dramatic as some of those other ones got, but it feels a bit more earnest. Probably why Joker feels very odd in this episode, but other than that, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Joker just really sticks out to me in this episode. I don't know what it is. Every time it cuts to him, I'm just like, I like Joker, but he's I don't know. When they do stuff like Robin's Reckoning and like the Tim one, that was Two-Face. I feel like they probably need a little more serious of a villain to kind of ground it and then ground the drama. But Joker's being his jokey self just feels a little bit odd here. But anyway, that's super nitpicky. But I feel like they should have used someone else.
With this show, it feels like they almost used him entirely for levity. It's like, we need something to make this feel like a kid show, because a lot of this, the new Batman Adventures feels that way.
Yeah,
it's a lot more kid friendly. So we got to have a little Joker to go with your
I
mythos.
think you're absolutely right.
So,
that was pretty good.
Yeah. After how many episodes we've dumped in D and Baby Mad, it's nice to have a B tier. Where do we put it, though?
A bit higher.
Actually, better.
Next to Shadow of the Bat would be appropriate.
Yeah. Where do we stick this shot of red background with the moon visible in it?
God.
Like above or below it?
Maybe below it.
Yeah.
It's not quite as nuanced as that one, though.
There are 3 episodes in B tier with the same exact visual. That's incredible.
I almost wish I did nice sort of like jokey kind of word art thumbnails. At least they would have sticked out more.
Actually, sorry, 4. There's this one over here.
Well, that was at least Arkham. You can just about make out the Arkham banner.
But it's still 4 shots of a red sky and a moon.
They have to have the moon. They all have to have the moon in.
God, and that's not even the last one.
No, it's another one. It's the next one.
The next one. So this is Red Sky episode number 6. Or sorry, 19, because they all have the red sky. What am I talking about? This is Legends of the Dark Knight, episode 19. It begins with some kids. They're walking around.
Kids.
Yeah, there's a thing that says, there's a newspaper, it says, and there's a guy running around burning stuff down. Great.
And they're like, well, I don't know who that could be. It's definitely not that serial stalker. Because he just stalks things, right?
Yeah, all he cares about is his ex-girlfriend, I guess.
So he burns things? Anyway,
yeah.
Who knows that could be?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So kids, these kids who are talking about Batman, they're just like, oh, I know.
Batman would stop this arsonist.
Yeah,
yeah, and they all have their own different ideas of what Batman's like. It's like our favorite Batman movie. That one, I can't remember the name of Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knight.
Legends.
Yeah.
Gotham Knight.
Or something. Gotham City Knights, or It's
The one that's supposedly Dark Knight. Anyway,
yeah. So yeah, it's like that episode, or yeah, that one segment from that whatever that was,
one
where
movie. Yeah.
yeah, they're all telling their own take on Batman, but this time it's all based on existing Batman properties. Like the first one here is the Silver Age Batman. It's like
Right.
just literally an adaptation of a comic, I believe.
Yeah, but so they go out their way to credit Bill Finger and Frank Miller at the very start. So these are
Oh,
absolutely adaptations. Like,
yeah.
they credit them specifically. So we've got like a big animation rework. I should say the framing is like this kid. Which one is it, Matt or Nick? They're like, oh, my dad was a security guard, and he met him once, and it's just the way he tells it, like via his uncle or whatever. He said, well, this is how he said, like, it's like this doesn't sound right. It's just like, hey, look, this is just the way he told the story, all right.
Oh,
So it's like a
yeah.
very Silver Age story. So it's like a kid's interpretation of something he heard from his uncle or whoever. And it's Silver Age Batman. So it's like a musical museum. And it's all. And then the Joker attacks, and it's his design suddenly got good. It's very old school looking Joker, which unironically is better than the one they were actually using in the show at the time. I'm gonna get this out of the way now because I know it's not a show you haven't seen, so I'll just get this out of the way. This Joker's voiced by what's his name, Michael McNeil. Hang on, let me double check that. I don't want to sound stupid.
Oh.
Michael McKean. Hang on. Michael McKean, yeah. So won't go on about too much. Give him so much show. It's Chuck from Better Call Saul. It's Saul Goodman's brother voicing Joker, which is pretty wild to me. It's pretty funny. He is not crazy. Right, there's a reference out the way. We'll carry on.
I should point out one thing I found out was the one doing Batman's voice in this segment is he's in like a bunch of stuff, and of course I don't remember his name, but he was like the original Space Ghost, and I found that really funny.
Yeah.
I just thought that was really appropriate.
Right. So anyway, this a lot of attention. So they didn't just do the animation, but they also like recast these versions of the characters, which is a lot of effort. It's more effort than they put in that stupid Gotham Knights short or the movie, because it was consistently Kevin Conroy, even though they did the anime 12-year-old boy Bruce Wayne is still Kevin Conroy's voice. At least here they had the foresight to actually like recast them, and they're all cast well. I feel really silly talking about this. I can't really just outline the plot because it's just ridiculous. It's all about the set pieces and the animation style. It's just a silly caper of an old school Joker, and like the biggest gags are just the performances and the way they speak, and it's all about the style rather than the actual substance of the episode. Like, there's not much to talk about. It's all the gags are like giant musical instruments. It's very it's like the Adam West show as well. Everything is labeled like this. Just things like a giant violin and things like that, just labeled as such. And this also has a great moment where he the Batman and Robin designs are really good as well. Like, they're just kind of very over the top, and it is like the best comparison if you just know the wider media is just that 60s show, because it's all just that kind of over the top campiness. And there's a great bit where Joker drops like a tuba or something over Robin, and that's where you get the I win moment. It's good to know that the I win moment and I am not crazy are both the same actor delivering that line, so that's good to know. The meme machine there. And then Discord died mid-episode. So this episode's going down a tier for that. The episode's not even literally unwatchable episode. No, then reconnect it the next day or something. The framing, I want to highlight that. It's just the direction of it. Every shot, you can absolutely, without having read the comic, you can absolutely tell they're adapting these comic panels very literally. Just the way they're sort of framed. Eventually, Batman and Robin are left in a giant piano, and Joker's like jumping on the keys, so the hammers are gonna splat them. And then they get out, and I honestly can't even remember the specifics of it. It's not why you're watching this. You're watching this just for the tonal shift, and it's just a lot of fun. I can't really just
It's
not much else to say.
It is kind of the perfect way for them to do the very silly plot line, where it's just a kid like telling you a story about how he knows, and it's like, not only is it silly, but it's literally an adaptation of the really really old Batman. So it has an excuse to be silly. So everything that's happening on screen is very entertaining, but not, against the rules, like, for lack of a better term. Like, it all makes sense that this is happening. So
yeah, and it's a nice tribute to that era as well.
Yeah.
It's like embracing when Batman was silly. Like, we're not above that. We don't mind that. Also, I get the feeling this wasn't in the original comic. I could be wrong, but this handshake here, that just absolutely felt like a reference to the Adam West intro, just from that one shot.
Yeah.
Because the framing's almost exact. Although I think the Adam West intro was like 2 frames or something.
Right.
There's not really much to say about that. It's just a lot of fun, in the same way the Adam West show is a lot of fun. So wink, wink, nudge, nudge, kind of ridiculousness. And then the voice is all spot on.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those things, like, you just have to see it because it's good. It's not plot heavy. It's just entertaining.
It's also like 5 minutes long, so what you can do.
I do like this quote at the end here is when he goes back to the framing device. One of the kids says something about, they were talking about the Batmobile, and one of them says, "I heard it can drive up walls," which is
and they're like, "So shut up, Joel."
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
So, another kid starts to tell their story. Oh yes, it's Carrie, because
Carrie. I wonder why she's called Carrie.
Yeah,
it's kind of familiar.
Yeah, she's like, I heard, Batman's actually like bulky and dark, and
he's old, like real old, like 50. And one more thing, Robin's a girl.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, well, sounds familiar.
And then, it cuts to this very familiar looking shot. I don't know where we've seen or talked about this particular visual before, but
So we're just gonna skip this whole segment, and we're just gonna you can refer to our movie tier list video if you want a review of The Dark Knight Returns. So we then cut to the present day, and Fireflies around. And no, okay.
I mean, I don't really. It's another thing where I don't have a lot to say about it. It is again like just a really cool like style. It's imitating the original comic, which this existed before the movie did. So it's important to note.
Yeah, like 20 years before.
This is the debut of this being animated, and
they must have had a real fun doing this, like, because it's very very adult. No, obviously we can't, especially in like that era where you don't really do, you wouldn't do these DC animated adaptations on like DVD and stuff. Everything animation is for kids, so they must have just been able to like, oh, we've got an excuse to animate The Dark Knight Returns. Like, this is going to be rad. Like, this is going to be fun. I bet they had fun doing this.
I hope so, yeah. Because it is just a lot of fun. Like, there's a little bit of like rewriting here and there. It's like at one point, she's in the tank with him, even though I don't think she's supposed to be. But like again, it's just
condensing it down. It's 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's just a lot of.
She's the one being kidnapped.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Just gives her an excuse to be there.
And then it's just a lot of the scene with him fighting the mutants and then confronting the leader and fighting him in the mud hole. And
so they it starts off with like it was the kidnapping of that kid who was like the heir to the chewing gum company or whatever. But instead of that, to condense it down, it's Robin being kidnapped, even though he hadn't met Carrie at that point. So like, split chicken legs. Where's the bat? So they just combine things just with brevity, and then the rest of it is combining both of the mutant leader fights. So it starts off with like the first confrontation, and then ends with the this is an operating table moment. So yeah, they could dance it down a bit, but they cover a lot of good scenes in that short amount of time.
Yeah.
And again, the animation looks it's probably closer to the normal show here, but it's definitely different. And they recast as well. Michael Ironside as Dark Knight, Bruce Wayne, Batman. That's a really good fit.
Yeah. Yeah. Just.
I said this repeatedly when we did the movie thing, but I guess if you're just in a Paul Verhoeven film, you can play this version of him, because Peter Weller was RoboCop and Michael Ironside was like one of the main bad guys in. Not the main bad guy in Total Recall. The main bad guy in Total Recall is the main bad guy in RoboCop. They're all connected. So, but yeah. Yeah, he just really good voice for this, and he would go on to voice Darkseid in Superman.
Oh, right.
Probably already had at this point.
But yeah, that's that. It's another thing. You should just see it. Honestly, it's on YouTube. Just look at it. It's good.
Yeah, we can't really talk about it. It's all. Here's the thing. It's all style, so we can't just describe it. You just have to see it. It's on. Yeah, it's clipped on YouTube. So
we've also already talked about the movie, so we've been there.
Well, not really reviewing the movie. I mean, we just did this in a bubble. I'm like, I don't get this at all. Who the hell's this guy with like the pointy nipples screaming about mutants? And we don't see what happened to him, and then we just cut away. I don't get this at all. And it's really inconsistent with the scene earlier with Joker. I mean, what the hell? Why is Robin replaced with this girl? What the hell's going on? This episode's baby mad. Anyway, all kids are unreliable narrators.
Yeah. Yes. It cuts back to
so that's the fun part of the episode.
Yeah. There has to be a conclusion, and unfortunately, it's a Firefly conclusion, because guess who it is?
Squeeze that third story in here, surely.
Yeah, it goes back to the framing device. These kids are in a theater. Like, what is it? Like they see something weird's happening, and they go into a theater it's like.
Don't they mistake Firefly for Batman? They're like, oh, it's Batman on his famous jetpack.
Oh yeah.
Just following him there, and he's just like, and then they see Firefly sitting up explosives. He's like, oh, some kids.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And Batman shows up and beats him.
The kid tries to use his little Batman torch to blind the killer. I mean, to send a bat signal up into the air. Someone's making that as merchandise or something. Maybe he made it. I don't know. But then Batman shows up, and really after like these really cool 2 segments, there's nothing particularly wrong here, but it feels very underwhelming. It just feels nice that I suppose it is nice to get kind of a return to the actual Batman, because the whole gimmick is like we've got the extremely campy Batman, and at the time the most grim, dark version of Batman, and then we get this bookend. It's kind of like the reality is, or at least in this show, the reality is that it's just something in between. It's just kind of in between those 2 extremes. But
yeah,
I really wish it wasn't Firefly.
Yeah, he sucks. In this show, he sucks. He just gets captured, and that's really about it.
Very dud ending to an otherwise great episode.
Yeah, very limp conclusion to something that was a lot of fun, but it was still, majority of it, very fun. So we wrote down A.
It is, yeah. If they had like a third story, or the framing was a bit more interesting, like almost got him. They did something clever with that, maybe. But it could have been a potential S, but that just drags it down to A. It's still not bad though.
No. It's definitely a recommendation on that one.
Well done, Firefly, for somehow smuggling yourself into an A-tier episode. Like, yay, I'm A2! Look at me, Cassidy, whatever.
Yeah, he did a good job of dragging down an S tier into an A tier. Good job.
I made it into A tier. Yay. It's annoying as well because it's like a tribute to Batman. And
Yeah.
That's who you end it with.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like I guess
The worst thing ever, but
I get you don't want to do Joker, like regular Joker with the Silver Age Joker, but I don't know.
no, I get that, but he's got enough villains.
Yeah, just literally anybody but that guy.
Where's Farmer Brown?
Where's Baby Doll?
Let's move on.
Let's move on to episode
Oh,
20.
first crossover.
This is the crossover episode.
And because we're watching the Batman episodes first, our first crossover episode is a little unusual, not what you expect.
Yeah. This is Girls' Night Out. This is an all-girl episode. The protagonists are Batgirl and Supergirl. And the antagonists include Harley and Ivy and Livewire. Who's Livewire? So, this is a silly anecdote. This is the one character I remember, like the one thing I remember about the Superman animated series.
Oh no.
This is for some reason, this is one of the things that I remember from seeing as a kid. And very silly reason. So she's like this electricity person. Like she has this thing where she like is powered by electricity. Like she can turn into it, but she also uses it kind of like a battery where like she needs it to be effective. Other she doesn't have electricity, then she's like weak. She's also weak to water. Like how she gets defeated in her episode is she gets hit by water, and it like I guess because it disperses the electricity or whatever. And so, and that's relevant to this episode as well. But I just remember seeing that as a kid, and that screwing up my interpretation of like in Pokemon, whenever it's like the electric type is strongest the water type. I remember thinking about that episode being like, should it be the other way around? And just being like kind of confused by it, because very silly kid stuff. And then I remember seeing the episode again when I was doing all the DC animated shows, and being like, oh man, I remember this. And I came away from the rewatch of that episode thinking, man, this character is fucking annoying. She is. Like, her entire gimmick is she is this, like, radio...
DJ? Like,
DJ? Yeah. I did a brief glance at some of the characters on the wiki page. And noticed she was a shock jock, and I'm like, oh, fuck off. That's stupid. And it's like... Yeah.
That's so dumb, though. That's not fun.
But like, I just remember, like, it's this thing where she's just like this radio personality who's really obnoxious, like she's meant to be very incendiary, but because it's like a kid's cartoon,
it's just annoying.
Yeah, but it's like a kid's cartoon show. She's just like, Superman, he stinks, and he's just very dumb.
It's like, because it's toned down. It's just yeah. And
then it's just a lot of like, it reminds me a lot of Roxy. Actually, it's just a lot of like puns and quips that just don't stop, and it just like shut up. Just very annoying.
I don't remember Roxy being nearly as bad as Livewire though.
No.
But what I remember from Livewire is the thing that always annoyed me about it was, if I remember correctly, it was just basically like Superman tried to save her, and when she had an accident to get her powers, but then she was like an absolute like just really nasty about it afterwards. He's like, she's trying to. It felt more malicious than a lot of other characters. She's just like, you're just fucking awful. Like, you just suck.
Yeah, it's just like that was her whole.
You try to save her, and then she's just extremely unpleasant. Not in that sort of like a funny kind of villain way. Just like, I just don't want to. I would not want to be around this person.
Yeah. One funny note, another thing I picked up from the brief glance was she's a show character. She's like Harley Quinn. I didn't actually realize
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like I could have sworn she would have been like an older character, but no, she was made for that show. So, This would maybe be her, like, second appearance in anything.
I guess if she was like a shock jock, that would be very contemporary at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I know they could change things from comic characters, but that kind of fits in with like sort of mid-90s.
Yeah, it's true. So...
Just so, she just looks like Killer Frost in that, when she's in Shadow.
Yeah, so the opening shot is her being transported in one of those armored cars, like, to Gotham or, like, through Gotham. And I saw her, and I was not expecting it to be her, so I was like, is that Killer Frost? And you're like, no. And I'm like, well, it looks like Livewire, but I was not prepared for a crossover episode. For this to be a crossover episode. I thought it was just going to be like a Harley Ivy thing. And I was like, is that her? And then it's like, oh, it's Livewire. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Weird. What is she doing in a Batman episode? What the fuck is Batman going to do against her? Like,
yeah, there's
so
an issue with like Superman characters crossing over Batman because the power gap is real.
yeah, this episode is something. So I don't even remember what happens, but she gets out, like she causes the truck to crash or something. It's like she gets near an electrical pole or something, and then she's just like, oh, I have energy. Yeah, she's just like, I have energy now. And then she gets out and she goes into the wires and just gets out. I believe Batman is seen in like one scene where he's in the Batwing and he's like flying to Metropolis, I think. And he's on the phone with Supergirl and he's like, hey, I need to talk to Clark. And she's just like, he's busy. And he's like, this is really urgent. And she's like, nah, he's busy.
He's away on doing journalism things because that's all he is. He's a journalist man and nothing else.
Yeah. And Batman's just like, okay, well, I gotta come over there, so I gotta talk.
No, he said something like in code, just like, I've got a very urgent story for Clark, and he like phrases it like that, and like Supergirl's like, are you a cape?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's like, this sounds like a cape, and just like, look, just pass the message on. I'm not saying anything. She's like, yeah, and Supergirl's like, yeah, okay, I know. I think I know who you are, but she didn't like say. He's like, who is this? But yeah, so it's kind of like very, because he's not stupid enough to just say, is Superman there? It's like, this is Lois speaking. I'm looking after his apartment. Oh shit.
I mean, to be honest, I literally have no idea what her relationship is with Clark. I have no idea. Oh, okay.
She's like, Superman's cousin.
Oh, right.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's not your fault. You didn't watch the other show, and we're just because we're watching. I mean, who's Superman? Who's Clark? Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. This is the first crossover we got, but this is the only one that's in Batman. The other was it
5?
5? Yeah, the other 5 are in Superman. It's really unbalanced.
Yeah.
They are. The way it works is that that's just the Superman show. So we were watching those afterwards. I mean, we really technically didn't have to watch them at all because they're not technically Batman episodes, but it'd be weird to ignore them, so we watched them.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is our first crossover episode. It's like the all-girl episode. So we meet Supergirl before Superman. Just a weird little fact.
Yeah.
Weird little. Just the way it works out for us.
But yeah, she gets the inkling that something's going on, and so she just flies over to Gotham herself. Mm-hmm. And then Batgirl, I think, fights Livewire, and then obviously she can't do shit. Supergirl shows up and scares her off, I think. And then the Batgirl and Supergirl are like, "Hey, let's team up. We gotta deal with this problem." And
you get the X-Men versus Street Fighter title card.
Oh yeah. This is DC versus DC. Wait. Hold on.
This is Injustice versus.
So, and then I believe this is where Livewire just shows up at Harley and Ivy's house. Like, Harley and Ivy live on like a, I don't know, it's just like a really big, nice house with like a, I guess, farm or greenhouse next to it. Ivy stuff. But it is a big step up from their apartment from Holiday Nights. So, I don't know.
Or they're all living on a garbage dump.
Yeah. They just keep moving.
Yeah.
And again,
Well, it's hard to keep up with rent payments in the mid-90s.
Harley is also just... Sometimes she's living with Joker and she's Joker's lackey. Sometimes she's just living with Ivy. It's...
I never really thought about that. Yeah, that is random, isn't it?
Yeah, like, I think I wrote a note somewhere in here where it's just like, where she is at any given time is just up to the writers. Like, where
Maybe
they want her...
two of her.
I mean, it's a lady in a costume, you never know.
Yeah.
It's one of the ones from the Joker's Wild. She escaped and she thought she was Harley.
Or maybe it's a Clayface creation, I don't know.
One of the sentient clay faces,
Yeah.
But, yeah, Livewire just shows up at their house and she's like, hey, what's up? And then they're like, oh, and they're just a team now. Like, I think she just...
That's all it takes.
Yeah, it cuts to them, like, robbing a mall at, like, night. Because that's where most of the... like, half the episode takes place next. There's this thing where Harley is just the butt of the joke for most of this episode.
I mean, I did kind of find it funny. Like, her approach is just to hit something with a mallet repeatedly. Although it is, I guess it is kind of making it look bad. But...
It is, it's this weird thing where it's like, I get it, like, she's Harley, she's kind of silly, and you can do that with her, but, like, you've got this super-powered being teaming up with a lady who does stuff with plants, and
well, she has, like, I would say, I think that's the gag, because, like, Poison Ivy God, it's so vague with Poison Ivy, but I would say at this point she has powers, I guess, to the point where she might as well have. She has a gimmick, whereas Harley is... Well, Harley's like, oh, you have a baseball bat, go defeat Superman,
Yeah, like, so, like, they're like, oh, how do we break in? And then Harley starts hitting it with her giant mallet, like the door, just over and over, and they're just like, ugh. So then they break in, and then they go to an ATM, and they're like, how do we get the money out of this ATM? And Harley starts hitting it over and over with the giant mallet, just like, alright.
I'm not gonna lie, I did get a laugh.
It's funny, but I feel like they hit that nail in the head too many times. Like,
yeah,
she is just repeatedly...
You found it funny the first time, yeah.
Yeah. I just think that there's something weird this episode where they just keep pointing out the power imbalance of these characters. Like, these super-powered characters are teamed up with these mundane humans, and it's just kind of like, this doesn't work. It doesn't... there's no real threat here, you know?
So it's funny, I've always been way more conscious of that in, like, DC than Marvel for whatever reason. Probably because it is a bigger divide. Probably because DC's, like, flagship characters are Batman and Superman. And they're, like, opposite. One's a human, and the other one is, like, god tier, like, superhero. So that's probably where I think about that more. Because you get games like Injustice and stuff, they really go out the way to explain how they can fight evenly. Whereas in Marvel, it's just like, who cares? But I guess it's not as widely spread there. Like, sure, Spider-Man could fight the Hulk, I guess. You know?
Yeah, you could stretch the imagination for a lot of the Marvel stuff, but with DC, it's like you have to use kryptonite for Superman, otherwise Batman literally cannot fight most of these people. So I think that's just.
I'm gonna really apologize for this comparison in advance, but it almost feels like DC is Star Trek and Marvel is Star Wars, whereas like one's like, we've got to explain this, like we've got to explain like, well, this happens and this happens, this happens, and this is how they can be matched. Whereas like the Marvel is Star Wars and it's just like, whatever, who cares? Like, you can go to warp drive or whatever, it doesn't matter. That's just how I feel. Like that's the most nerdy comparison I can make, but.
I almost feel like it's the other way around because Star Wars is a bunch of supernatural shit with the Force and whatever, and that feels a little more.
I mean, I don't mean that too literally. I feel like Trek tries to justify it a bit more, and I feel like DC tries to explain these imbalances a bit more. But then again, we're not doing Marvel stuff, so I might be wrong there. I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
I suppose my reference to Marvel is just
The
the
game.
MCU mostly.
Yeah, yeah.
The games. All those Capcom games do not have a lot of story and not stop you really explain much. So.
Yeah, okay, sure. But that is just kind of my general problem with this episode is the power imbalance. It feels really weird. It just makes it's mostly about character banter, and then but because it's this show, there's a lot of action, and the action feels weird because of that. Because like, what is it, like the Batgirl, Supergirl show up. I don't know, they fight. Batgirl gets like, it's like, how is she gonna fight this lightning creature? And it's like, oh, she uses like science. She throws like a big,
was it like silica dust or something?
Yeah, some sort of dust that like, oh, this is absorbed electricity, and so it like knocks her out. It's like, oh, okay, well, you know, at least
I
she
feel
tried.
like that moment, because I feel like Supergirl wouldn't have thought of that. Although it is nullified a little bit when you remember that she's weak to water. So. And the silica dust thing is very clever. Like, oh, I've studied science for this. So like, yeah, you could just throw a bucket of water on her. That'd probably have the same effect.
Right. That is true. Because I think they do actually, they established that several times, that she doesn't like water because I think Harley or somebody like tries to wash off the dust, and she's just like, what, are you trying to kill me? And it's just like, oops, oh well. So, but something happens. I just remember that Batgirl gets put in like an elevator or something to like get away from one of Ivy's attacks or something, and then Ivy is just like, yeah, but she's in an enclosed space with this deadly gas or something.
Yeah, I think she threw some seeds at Supergirl, and Supergirl vaporizes them with a heat vision, and she's like, I knew you were going to do that, because as soon as you did that, you just released poisonous gas into the air. Yeah.
And I think it ultimately just culminates in everyone getting away. Like, Supergirl has to take care of Batgirl, and then the other three just run off or something. I do remember, like, the next scene starts with Livewire at their house again, and she's like, oh, so this is where you live? And I'm just like, yeah, you saw it earlier. This is where you met them. What the fuck are you talking about?
I forgot.
I don't remember.
I wasn't looking.
And I don't remember what happens next, but I do remember that there's then this scene in the Iceberg Lounge where it's the...
Why are they even there? I can't remember.
I don't know. I think they're just chilling out. They're just like, whatever. They just...
Yeah, and like Penguin's like, you're making a buckus. Get out.
Well, it's... Yeah, because they do the thing again where Harley's just like, here, are you sure you don't want some water? She's like, no. Water, it'll kill me.
No, I'm not sure. Give it to me.
She's just like, no, it'll kill me. And then... That's where she says the line. I don't remember exactly how it leads to, but this is how she says the line, I'll show you how dead I am. Which, it's like, she's just getting, like, just mad, and then she just says that, and just like, what?
I think this is why you got back into Dead by Daylight. It's just these, like, it's been a while since we played Dead by Daylight, when characters just say, I'll show you how dead I am. Fuck me.
Yeah, I fucking love this shot. Like, it's like the Penguin and those two arguing, and then there's Harley just, I don't know what that expression is. Just like, oh.
It's a time for joint. I don't know. So,
something, the finale happens where Batgirl and Supergirl show up at Ivy's place, and a fight breaks out, and Ivy attacks with like an elephant made of leaves or something.
This is real weird.
Yeah, she's like a plant creature. So she has plant animals, more animals, obviously. But yeah, like she has fucking plant animals, and then I think Supergirl's just like, hey Batgirl, you take on Livewire, I'll take on Poison Ivy, and I'm just like, fucking what? Are you serious? What the fuck is Batgirl gonna do? She already used the grenade, the dust, and so we can't use that
Well, she
again.
can dodge for a while, I suppose.
Yeah, so
Until she dies.
yeah, she dodges a bunch of lightning bolts, and then one of them hits the well, like grass plant monster, and it catches fire. So
I
then,
can't stress how weird I find these things. They are actually like animals. Like they
yeah,
apparently feel pain and stuff.
yeah, it's,
I was thinking back to like Animal Act. You know, it's just like they're just fighting animals again. Even when it's a plant, can't you just come up with a cool plant monster? It's just like a lion made of grass. It's just you're fighting a lion again. Like that's. I'm sick of Batman fighting Schumacher. I mean, animals.
yeah.
You know, like I don't know. Those things really got me. I don't know why they annoy me so much. They're just animals.
And then there's multiple shots of Harley using like a boxing glove launcher to hit a Supergirl in the back of the head, and she's just like, "Ow, stop that!" And it's like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, about down. Yeah, because like she was employed to take down Superman in the first Suicide Squad movie. I was like, yeah, that's probably how that would have gone down.
Yeah. And then it's just again, they just keep hitting that note, just like, yeah, Harley's useless. Just feel bad for her.
Some moments of competency here, if I recall. She just gets some gadgets off or something.
I don't know. It kind of just felt arbitrary. Like, oh, we need her to not be completely useless, so that I don't know, she's a threat. And
God, how many Harley Ivy episodes have we had? There's a lot.
quite a number, yeah.
Because they did it the first time. I was like, oh yeah, this is that episode. And then that team up is just it's like 6 episodes or something. It feels like it.
There's certainly
including
a lot
that
more
short
Harley
and
to go.
Holiday Nights.
Yeah. But yeah, like there's a bunch of fire starts happening because of the plants are on fire. Ivy like turns on like a big hose or something to like, put out the fires, and then that fucks up Livewire because she's weak to water. Like she just gets knocked into it or something.
Kind of funny how OP her power is, but her weakness is so stupid.
Yeah.
It's just how you balance it.
I guess so, yeah. But then, yeah, she gets knocked in the water or something, and then the electricity, like, shoots up to where Ivy is and just kind of hits her, and then she gets shocked, and then that's the end of the episode. Like...
Yes, it's very abrupt, and then got the last note here, remember the watching... Yeah, Supergirl back, but watching it on TV. I don't know why it's not Gordon, it's Bullock, and they're just like, oh, did you get some help? And he sort of, like, briefly acknowledges them, just like, yeah, well, we had some help from some rookies, I guess they're alright. And then they're like, yay, we impressed Bullock!
I think we
made it!
Yeah, I think that was a callback to an earlier part where, probably after the mall scene, where Bullock is just like, oh, these useless dames, they're just, wasting our time, they can't do anything. And then, you see him at the end, he's like, you know what, they're alright. And it's like, yay!
I don't feel like the triumphant, yay, we did it.
Yeah, it's like that was the thing that made their day, was that Bullock likes them. It's like, alright, sure.
That was alright.
Uh...
It's typical fan servicey stuff.
Yeah, I didn't like it as much, but I didn't particularly hate it. We didn't write down really a lot about it, honestly. Just
You're very strong negative there.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's kind of all I got.
Like it
Yeah. So,
yeah. That's like a C.
It's a C. What kind of a C?
That's probably as good as anywhere, honestly.
Yeah. It's just very easy to put them next to other episodes from this show. It's like, that reminds me of that one. Yeah, sure.